It's Tuesday, January 20th. Today, residents are calling for answers. Questions swirl in Gimli after the town's mayor is suspended with pay, and officials remain tight-lipped about what actually happened. The premier says it's our only hope, how the growing tension over Greenland can boost the expansion of the port and railways in Manitoba. Plus, bundle up, what's in store and how you can prepare with Manitobans in the grip of a deep freeze. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Coming up, thank you so much for joining us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. It is Tuesday. I'm still on Monday for some reason, but it's actually Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, the cold is maybe what's playing with my brain as well. I was a little shocked by it, and Ainsley McPhail is going to talk about some of the services and programs that are available to ensure that people are safe when they're out in the cold, especially those who are unsheltered, and it is really chilly and dangerous out there.
Absolutely. First of all, welcome back. I was jealous yesterday when you weren't here. Not that you were feeling into the weather, but that you didn't have to leave the house when it was so cold. Oh my goodness. Here we are. We all left the house this morning though, and it is still very cold. Minus 26. That's where the temperature is currently sitting. Feeling though like minus 37. The breeze on the lighter side. The conditions are clear. The pressure is falling. The humidity sitting at 77%. That clear sky will let you do some stargazing if you can see past your breath, because that's the thing I've been saying the last couple of days. Every time I try to glance up into the sky to see what the conditions look like, you just see white anyway, because your breath of course freezes, the little vapor particles, the exhaust fog everywhere. Those are the conditions that we'll be dealing with again today. And the clear moment that we're experiencing currently, that's not likely to last. You can see all of the heavier clouds, even some scattered precipitation. All of that will be closing in on us. Matter of time when we'll be seeing the precipitation, but as for the clouds, later on this morning, things are going to be pretty overcast overall, and then mainly cloudy conditions expected throughout the province. You can see there will be just a little bit of scattered precipitation, but more so into the evening overnight, some passing through, and then possibly even continuing through tomorrow, a little bit of light and scattered snow. Now, the winds will remain on the lighter side today, so that blowing snow won't be as much of an issue, but those winds will be increasing again for tomorrow, and any of that fluffy snow could be whipping around once again. Next couple of days will be on the cloudier side, the warmest that we can expect throughout this week, because we are still likely to see those temperatures plummeting with a clearer sky expected through the latter part of the week and the weekend.
Thank you, Terry. Interlake residents are calling for more transparency after Gimli Mayor Kevin Chudd was suspended for 7 days. A public notice from the RM says an investigation into misconduct found several founded allegations. But as CTV's Harrison Shin shows you, what the allegations were about isn't clear.
Snow wasn't the only thing swirling around Gimli Monday. Speculation hit the coffee shop as residents tried to work out what led to their mayor being suspended.
I feel that there's a lot of things going on here that really I've questioned and never got answers for.
Debbie Fakes has made Gimli her home for the last 9 years. She says she wants to know what led to Mayor Kevin Chudd's 7-day suspension and why the RM won't tell people like her what happened. She says it's hard to tell if the punishment fits the misconduct without more details.
Again, we don't know what he's done. And we don't know who came up with this week thing.
It all started on Friday. A public notice was sent out saying an investigation into Chudd's conduct started in March 2025 after a complaint was made. The RM hired an independent investigator, and that report found, quote, several allegations were found to be founded. The investigation found, quote, cause for sanctions related to the conduct of the mayor and certain council members. Sanctions were imposed, including a formal apology from the mayor to the complainant, mandatory training for all council members, a full review of the code of conduct and other policies. Messages and calls to Mayor Kevin Chudd have not been returned. Back at the coffee shop, residents like Daphne Marcuson continue to speculate.
Everybody's assuming it's all kinds of different things. If we definitely knew, people would know, but because of that, people are saying could be this, could be that. It's kind of upsetting that we don't really know what circumstance happened.
CAO DJ Sigmerson was not available for an interview but sent this response in part, saying the process is confidential under the law. Manitoba's council members' codes of conduct regulation under the Municipal Act requires investigator reports, evidence, and findings to remain confidential except for what council is permitted to disclose. This protects complainants, witnesses, and the integrity of the process. But for Debbie Fakes, what happens on council is everyone's business. She has a message for the RM.
We would like you to be as open as you can with us because, like I said, it's really, really devastating that we have to find out through a paper and through an article that our small town is going through this with a mayor that we all elected.
Harrison Shin, CTV News.
Under the province's Municipal Act, Mayor Chud has the right to appeal, but the RM says given that the mayor is not active in his council duties, they cannot speak to his plans. There are new details about what may have led to a days-long power outage on a northern Manitoba First Nation. A preliminary examination by Manitoba Hydro has found firearm damage near the power line in Pimachikamak Cree Nation. The Crown-owned utility says an inspection of the wire that broke at the end of last month showed shotgun pellet damage to portions of the infrastructure, including the power line itself. But Hydro emphasizes it hasn't been determined definitively as to what caused the line to break. That said, it's warning hunters and firearm owners not to shoot at any electrical infrastructure. The First Nation was without power for about 4 days when a 300-meter-long power line running between two islands in the Nelson River broke. The power went out during a cold snap, resulting in ruptured pipes, the evacuation of more than 4,000 residents, and the deployment of the Canadian Armed Forces. The province is launching a new initiative to help beef up security at churches, synagogues, and mosques.
When somebody commits a hate crime, they're committing a crime against all of us as Manitobans. There is no place for hatred in our society.
Places of worship and cultural centers can now apply for funding to help cover the cost of security upgrades like lighting, cameras, alarms, and controlled entrances. The $1 million enhancement fund will work similar to the security rebate programs introduced for homes and businesses last year. The announcement comes just weeks after symbols of hate were spray painted on a synagogue, mosque, and high school in Winnipeg.
When you walk into your place of worship or your community center, you shouldn't have to worry about intimidation. You shouldn't have to worry about hate. We're seeing more and more acts of hate, of vandalism, and other acts across this country and here in our wonderful province as well.
The Canoe government also says it's establishing a security team to bolster community safety as part of the program. The province is accepting applications through email. You can find more details on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. An upgrade at Health Sciences Centre is helping speed up minimally invasive surgery for patients with brain tumors and other neurological conditions.
In this room, something special, almost magical happens.
The new Gamma Knife stereostatic radiosurgery equipment unit was unveiled on Monday. It provides focused gamma radiation on a tumor, allowing patients to undergo brain surgery with almost no incision. Officials say the upgraded system will allow HSC to treat more patients more efficiently and effectively.
With the new Esprit, patients often come in for their treatment before breakfast and return home for lunch. A dramatic change.
Imaging software within the machine means a patient can undergo an MRI days before instead of the day of treatment. The machine also provides flexibility to treat patients with larger and more complex tumors. Around 5,000 patients have undergone the treatment since the first Gamma Knife was introduced at HSC in 2003. Officials expect to treat 250 patients a year with the new system. It was funded through an HSC Foundation and provincial partnership. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers have locked up 3 more core pieces ahead of the 2026 CFL season. Right guard Pat Neufeld is back for a 12th season with the Blue and Gold. The offensive lineman is a 3-time CFL All-Star and a perennial leader in the Bombers locker room. Meantime, kicker Sergio Castillo is back on a 2-year extension. He's coming off a 2025 season where he connected on 85% of his field goal attempts. And Castillo's punting counterpart, Jamison Sheehan, is also returning to the Bombers on a 1-year deal. All 3 players were slated to become free agents in February. The CFL regular season kicks off in June. Here's a look at what's happening now in traffic at Confusion Corner. Things are slowly picking up over here and moving quite well. It is cold, though. Give your car some time to warm up this morning. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live and telling us a little bit more about One Just City and the important work they do. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, Rochelle. I'm chatting a little bit quieter today in One Just City. We're at Oak Table, one of the 3 locations. One is West Broadway, the other one is the West End. So they've got 3 of these, started in 2015, coming together with various ministries for One Just City, and they're drop-in spaces. This one here, a shelter space as well, housing or keeping about 30 people currently. They have other programs too, Indigenous programs. They've also got programs for seniors, and they want to get people housed so that they're developing these relationships, giving them housing, and then making sure that they retain the housing too. So stay with us throughout the morning and learn about all the various things that they're doing, how you yourself at home can donate, and there's a triathlon coming up. So if you're up for that, what a great way to do it.
Okay, thank you, Ainsley. We'll check in a little later. Let's go to the rooftop now. It's a cold start to the Tuesday.
It's a very cold start. In fact, even my monitor, I can always tell when we get into this kind of season, if you will. My monitor has like tracers on it. It's just basically a TV that I'm looking at, right?
Yeah.
And it shows me what you all are seeing at home and just put my graphics up. But yeah, everything is such a blur because every time I move, which I'm kind of having fun doing right now, moving around, and then you just see that little streak behind. So anyway, it is very, very cold out here this morning. And again, I can see my breath. I can also see a couple of stars. It's cold and clear. Minus 26 is what we're waking up to right now, feeling like minus 35. Winds at the moment, they're on the lighter side, just 11 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 77%. Yes, deep freeze conditions, and it will be a little bit milder than yesterday, not by much though. I mean, those temperatures are still only expected to be climbing up in those mid to high minus teens. And while we are expecting to see a little bit of sunshine this morning following this clear start to the day, it's not likely to last. Already along the western border, some heavier clouds, even a little bit of scattered precipitation. Some flakes of snow might be flying around. We're going to be seeing those clouds moving in over the eastern side as well. So becoming cloudy throughout the day, and then those clouds could even bring a little bit of snow overnight. Sticking around for tomorrow, but today and tomorrow will likely be the warmest couple of days. Now, I don't want you to be completely fooled, because while tomorrow might be the warmest day, it's going to get very windy and the temperature will fall then through the afternoon, and suddenly it won't be that warm anymore. Taking a break, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
Good morning. 2 levels of government and 3 of the province's top transportation organizations have agreed to work together to expand Manitoba's trade network. Officials have unveiled the Ports of Manitoba project, a memorandum of understanding involving the provincial and federal governments, along with the Winnipeg Airports Authority, Centreport Canada, and the Arctic Gateway Group. Under the terms, all 5 groups agree to mutually support each other to create one cohesive supply chain. It's expected that arrangement will help move products as efficiently as possible through the Port of Churchill and out to international markets.
We're here because the world has changed. Global trade routes are shifting, supply chains are strained, and countries everywhere are scrambling to secure reliable ways to move goods. Canada is not immune, and Manitoba has felt these pressures in agriculture, in critical minerals, and across the northern supply chain.
While none of the speakers mentioned the United States or Donald Trump, they all alluded to the changing nature of international trade and emphasized the need to develop stronger supply routes through the Port of Churchill. The Premier, however, was more direct.
So Canada has a lot of great plans for the future, but there is only one port and one rail line that feeds the Arctic, and that would be absolutely essential for us to maintain sovereignty in Canada's Arctic, and that is at Churchill, and that is in Manitoba. So if you're thinking whatever about Trump, if you're thinking whatever about Greenland, think Churchill. That is Canada's answer to what is going on right now. And by the way, it's Canada's answer for how do we grow our economy, how do we become less dependent on the U.S.
Wab Kinew was referencing Trump's stated aspirations of taking control of Greenland in defiance of European leaders. And Donald Trump is linking his stance on Greenland to his failure to win the Nobel Peace Prize, a revelation he made in a text message to Norway's Prime Minister. CTV's Joy Malbin on what it said.
It's clear the president is still smarting over not winning a Nobel Peace Prize. In an extraordinary exchange, Donald Trump lashed out at Norway's prime minister, writing, "Dear Jonas, considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace." Trump goes on to say Denmark can't protect Greenland from Russia or China, escalating his threat to take the Arctic island. The world is not secure unless we have complete and total control of Greenland. Thousands protested over the weekend wearing their own version of MAGA hats, saying "Make America Go Away." Still, the president refuses to rule out military force to seize the Danish-owned territory.
It is not easy when we wake up every morning to new threats. They are red lines which can't be crossed.
Trump pushing those lines. He wants to own Greenland so badly he's threatened to use his favorite weapon, tariffs, on European nations opposed to his plan to take Greenland.
I think that this can be resolved and should be resolved through calm discussion, making clear that the use of tariffs in this way is completely wrong.
European leaders blasted Trump's actions, from counter tariffs to canceling a planned royal visit to the United States. The U.S. Treasury Secretary warns that retaliation would be unwise.
The president is looking at Greenland as a strategic asset for the United States. We are not going to outsource our hemispheric security to anyone else.
As NATO allies struggle with the president's territorial ambitions, Norway's prime minister replied to Trump, explaining an independent committee awards the Nobel Peace Prize, not his government.
A beloved stuffed sloth will soon be back in the loving arms of its owner here in Winnipeg, thanks to some help from a Canadian vacationing in Mexico.
Slothy has been in our family since my daughter was a baby.
Stacy Burridge's 5-year-old daughter, Sage, takes Slothy with her everywhere, including to Puerto Vallarta last week. But after a canceled flight, change of hotel, and rush to pack, the beloved toy was accidentally left behind. When the error was discovered, Stacy contacted the hotel and posted a request on Facebook asking Canadians still in Mexico if they could look for Slothy. The response was immediate, with Kelowna resident Susan Rollin walking over to the hotel and retrieving the stuffy from the front desk. Both Stacy and Susan say they're overwhelmed by the reaction.
It was crazy, just the outpouring of support.
I am blown away by the support, by the kindness, and how people are excited to see a happy story.
Slothy is currently lounging around at Susan's condo, and Sage is said to be excited he'll soon be heading home. The stuffy will be flying back to Manitoba with some other Canadians on Wednesday. A rare and stunning glimpse into orca hunting behavior was captured off the coast of Victoria. This pod of orcas is known as the T19s. They are transient orcas, or Biggs killer whales, which currently or silently pursue larger prey such as the sea lion hunt, while resident orcas are more vocal and feed on fish. The Orca Behavior Institute says this successful hunt took place last week in the Harrow Strait. We have some road closures to remind you about this morning. Following the rush on McPhillip Street, the southbound curb lane will be closed from Pritchard to Jarvis. On Selkirk Avenue, the eastbound curb lane will be closed between Van Horn and McPhillips. And on Lipton Street, the northbound curb lane will be closed from St. Matthews to Portage. If you have any other traffic tips to share, please text them to us at 10400.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. It's cold out there this morning. Never in my life have I been so jealous of a stuffed animal, but Slothy is exactly the life that I want to be living right now. Oh my goodness, a tropical climate, just enjoying the relaxation of it all. Right now, I tell you, there's nothing relaxing. You step outside and instantly your muscles freeze, your teeth are chattering, you're doing your best to stay warm. And good luck to you with the temperatures that we're waking up to this morning. Minus 26 is where we're sitting with the actual temperature here in Winnipeg. It is slightly milder just off to the west of us. There's some heavier clouds off to the west of us, but where it's clear, it's often colder, and that's what we're seeing right now with these mid-minus 20s right up into the northern part of the province. And then we've got minus 30 at the moment in in the Island Lake area, mid to high -20s through the rest of the north. Then you add in winds on top of all of that, and the winds don't even have to be very strong to make it feel like low -40s throughout the northeastern part of the province, mid -30s here through much of the south. I mentioned the extra clouds providing that bit of insulation, so maybe not quite as cold for the folks along that western border. We will see those clouds moving over us a little bit more so as the day goes on. This morning will be your best chance of seeing some sunshine today. Now, tucked in there, a little bit of flurry activity in some areas off to the west of us. Might see some of that through the day. I mentioned the sunshine through the morning hours, but also the cold temperatures. A few more clouds building up through the day as those temperatures rise somewhat. Still staying below seasonal, -13. That would be a normal daytime high. We'll get to about -17 and top out there today. Tomorrow, some heavier clouds. In fact, some flurries overnight. Heavier clouds lingering into tomorrow, getting up to -14 and then dropping through the afternoon. And that's setting us up for the deep freeze, which is where we're going to stay for the next several days. Everybody's been seeing the sun dogs lately, but these two I think are the cutest I've seen yet. Bailey and Tika, thank you to Christine who sent this lovely photo in for us to enjoy today. Take the pictures and send them to winnipegweather@ctv.ca. We'll see you right after this break.
Hey ho, snap a pic for your chance to win with our Best in Fest contest. Festival du Voyageur returns February 13th to the 22nd, and we want to see how you're gearing up, whether it's snowshoeing, beard growing, or building a snow fort. Whatever it is, we want to see it. Upload your photo to our website, ctvwinnipeg.ca, or post it to social media using the hashtag Best in Fest contest. Weekly winners will be selected to win a 4-pack of passes to Festival du Voyageur. Manitobans are locked in a deep freeze. This chill comes after a weekend of chaotic blowing snow and storms. And as CTV's Jeff Keel shows you, the cold weather is putting a strain on shelters and vehicles.
Following a weekend of winter storms, the temperature in Manitoba is dropping, so it's not ideal to be outside.
Waiting for the bus is chilly, and I can't wait to get in, but the buses have been on time.
Environment and Climate Change Canada says Arctic air is moving in behind the storms that just rolled through, and don't expect any relief this week.
So that's going to mean temperatures into maybe the higher -20s, maybe even -30s as you get towards the end of the week and into the weekend. And of course, with the wind chill feeling likely into the -40s.
The extreme cold is putting pressure on the shelter system as people try to escape the elements.
We are seeing an increased number of individuals using our services. Because it is cold, we are actually seeing more frostbite.
The City of Winnipeg is also reminding people they can use public facilities to warm up when they're open. The cold is also hard on vehicles. CAA says as of midday Monday, they've had 630 calls for service, more than half of those for dead batteries.
As the cold weather kind of lingers and stays on, or the extreme cold weather, that we will be seeing those elevated call volumes come up just as more batteries start to fail.
Your home is also vulnerable. The city offers tips on its website to keep your pipes from freezing, including insulating them, seal air leaks around baseboards, windows, doors, and electrical outlets, insulate unheated areas like garages and attics, disconnect outdoor hoses, drain and shut off the water supply leading to outdoor faucets, leave outdoor taps slightly open to allow any remaining water to expand when freezing, and open kitchen, bathroom, or laundry cabinets to allow warm air to circulate around plumbing. And while many of us suffer during these cold spells, there are some who embrace it.
I love the winter.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
To make sure your vehicle starts in this weather, CAA says plug it in if you can and park it inside if you are able. Although Manitoba Hydro says for safety reasons, you should never plug in if the vehicle is already parked inside a garage. CAA also recommends checking your battery's charging capability, as most have only a 3 to 5 year lifespan. Here's a look outside now. What's going on in traffic along Kenniston Boulevard? It looks like things are moving well to start off this Tuesday morning. It's cold out there, though. Let it warm up this morning. We'll be right back after this short break.
A clear start to your morning, but it is so very cold. Minus 26 the actual temperature, but feeling like minus 35. Those winds this morning, they are on the lighter side, just 11 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 77%. So yes, very cold, bundle up, and even then you'll want to limit your time outdoors again. The temperatures will be rising a little bit more over the next couple of days than where we were, say, over the weekend, but only for the next couple of days before we're suddenly back beyond where we were this past weekend. So brace yourself. As cold as it is, it's going to get even colder yet. Clear conditions here along the eastern side. Already starting to see these clouds moving in, though. Clouds off to the west, where it is a couple degrees warmer first thing this morning. As these temperatures rise today, we should hit a high around minus 17. Now, that's still not quite seasonal. Minus 13 would be a normal daytime high. I mentioned the winds on the lighter side. They're out of the west right now. A southwest wind expected as it shifts slightly later this morning, only getting up to about 15 kilometers per hour. But the clouds will build up throughout the day today, and then we might even see some precipitation with those clouds in the overnight hours. Here's the thing, though. Those temperatures getting to minus 17 today won't be dropping off much in the overnight hours, and we'll still deal with a fairly light wind, southwest winds, 15 clicks or so, and then suddenly throughout the day tomorrow, well, not suddenly, it'll probably be about midday or so. So we'll watch the temperature, or feel the temperature, climb to minus 14, and then as those winds shift out of the northwest, gusting at times to 60 kilometers per hour, minus 14 starts to drop off, and we're going to end up in those high minus teens later on in the afternoon, and then dropping further overnight for the next few days. Deep freeze takes hold again. So high minus 20s for the rest of the week, low minus 20s for the daytime highs over the weekend, but you can see these overnight lows. They're getting pretty darn frigid and remaining below seasonal right into the start of next week.
The city is looking for someone to provide 24-hour outreach services to those living in encampments. A request for proposals now outlines a long list of responsibilities. It includes casework to help people quickly transition into safe housing, warning people about legal issues from occupying public land, providing safety checks and transfers to shelters, and helping to remove garbage. They would also need to report quarterly on how many people are living in encampments. The RFP states the city has about $387,000 available for the contract, which closes February the 10th. Inflation in Canada ticked up slightly last month at 2.4% compared to December of 2024. That's when Ottawa implemented a temporary GST break that helped some prices go down. Now they're back up, especially for groceries. CTV's Geneviève Beauchemin reports.
In the mix to bake these cookies, there's a secret ingredient.
You have a passion for coffee?
I'm obsessed, a little bit. Stephanie Presta started a home business, Montreal Latte Heart, combining that shot of caffeine with another passion, baking.
So I infuse my cookies with my coffee, and the coffee makes the flavors really come out of the cookies.
But that is now a recipe for higher costs. The latest Statistics Canada inflation numbers show coffee went up 30% annually, and that sweets were also pricier.
Weather variability and lower yields just means that there's less coffee beans being produced and there's more global demand. That's driving the prices up.
A similar story has unfolded for beef prices. They're up 16%. The cattle stock in Canada is low, boosting prices. The price hikes for coffee and beef are a big portion of the 5% overall inflation in grocery items. Still, economists see some positive signs in the report.
If you take out beef and some of the secondary effects on proteins, take out coffee, take out a couple of other things that have had extreme weather issues, the news is relatively optimistic for food prices going forward.
For Presta, relief from rising prices could mean that investing in her passions is worth the hard work.
There were moments this Christmas where I was like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this?
And with the cost of dining out going up too, it's hard to find a treat at a sweet price. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
2 suspects are now facing charges after several luxury vehicles were stolen from a dealership in the Toronto area. We first told you about this last week. As many as 8 suspects can be seen in this video, storming into the dealership's showroom before making off with roughly $2 million worth of cars. Some of the vehicles that were taken include a Ferrari worth about $620,000, a Porsche, and some BMWs. Police say some of the cars have already been recovered, and 2 men are now facing charges. A 19-year-old Canadian woman was found dead early Monday near a popular Australian tourist site. The woman was found unresponsive on Gari, which is an island off the country's east coast. 2 men driving past the beach saw a pack of wild dogs near the body. Authorities say it's too early to know if the dogs were involved in the death. At least 40 people are dead after a train crash in Spain, with dozens more injured. The fatal incident happened when a Madrid-bound train derailed, its tail end crossing over to the opposite tracks and colliding with another train. Experts studying the site say a faulty rail joint may have played a role in the crash. Spain's prime minister has declared 3 days of mourning. When in Rome, eat as the Romans did. Academics and bakers have teamed up to recreate the pan de via. It's a snack eaten by Roman legionnaires thousands of years ago. Think of it as an ancient energy bar. It's made from buckwheat, flour, sour cherry jam, and honey. The snack is filling and it keeps you full. It's perfect for a soldier on a campaign far from home. An emotional homecoming of sorts for Winnipeg Jets forward Jonathan Toews last night in the Windy City. Blackhawks fans at the United Center in Chicago on their feet with voices raised to pay tribute to Toews, the former Chicago captain and linchpin in the team that won 3 Stanley Cups between 2010 and 2015. After puck drop, however, it wasn't a great night for Toews and his Winnipeg Jets teammates. In the Winnipeg net, Connor Hellebuck made some nice saves, 22 of them in total. But on this night, the Jets couldn't capitalize on opportunities. They were shut out by the Blackhawks 2-0. The Jets are back in Winnipeg tonight hosting St. Louis. Game time is 7 p.m. Here's a look now at what's going on along the Norwood Bridge. Still pretty light in this part of the city at this point in the drive on Tuesday morning. If you see any issues out there, text them to us, please, at 10400. And let's look now at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.26. The provincial average is lower at $1.19. In Winnipeg, the average is the same, and the lowest price in the city is $1.07. All this info is on GasBuddy.com. That's where Ainsley McPhail is live this morning. One Just City. We'll tell you about the important work they do in this community, especially when it's this cold outside. Stay with us.
Weather is brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
Okay, so earlier this morning I was talking about how incredibly cold it is, and it's clear, but it feels even colder yet. And our temperatures, they're very similar to where we were sitting yesterday morning. But yesterday morning we were under an extreme cold warning, and that's not the case this morning. And when I realized that, I was like, oh, maybe it doesn't give me the permission anymore to complain about how cold it is, knowing that we're not even under that extreme cold warning and it's not as cold as yesterday. The morning temperatures are. It's that our afternoon temperatures, or where we're going to get to today, will be a little bit milder, and the criteria no longer fits for that extreme cold warning. We've actually got a couple of days ahead of us where things will be slightly milder. That being said, it's still going to be well below normal. Minus 23, for example, is a low temperature, and our actual temperature is a couple degrees off the mark of that. Starting out at minus 26 and feeling like minus 35 right now. The winds, they're not going to be an issue today. They're going to remain on the lighter side right now, just 11 clicks out of the west. So at least that wind has eased and will stay light throughout the day today. The temperatures themselves only likely to climb to the mid-minus teens. Around minus 17 is what we're looking at today. So still a little bit cool compared to a normal high of minus 13. We've got Ainsley McPhail back with us this morning. Let's head over and find out where she's at and what's going on. Hey, Ainsley.
Hi, Terry. Good morning. And when I hopped off the plane, thank you for welcoming me back, I thought, boy, it is chilly. But now that I'm here at One Just City, I have a totally different perspective on that negative feeling. This is the shelter space at Oak Table. Brittany Odger joins us now to tell us all about the space. This one is one of 3 of them.
It is, yeah. So One Just City is a nonprofit organization that operates out of 3 spaces throughout Winnipeg. We're here at Oak Table. We also have Pimicikamak Wellness Center and West Broadway. Some of those resources that you're going to find across these spaces is you're going to find housing supports, access to free meals, to food, weather-appropriate clothing, cultural programming, harm reduction supports, a whole bunch of really great resources across all three spaces that surround our central Winnipeg.
And from everything that I've heard as well, it sounds like a truly inclusive space.
It really is. Actually, one of my favorite pillars of One Just City is radical hospitality. And radical hospitality is seeing people for their inherent worth, not for their needs, not for their lack, not for what they're accessing necessarily, but for their inherent worth. And when you're able to meet somebody's basic needs, just a warm sleep or food, you build trust, you build community, and that's done through, the incredible staff, volunteers, and donors that make up this organization. So.
And that's just it. So many people coming together in various capacities. The community, Manitobans, are just so welcoming and so generous. How can they help?
Yeah, you know what? And my biggest thing is that I'm a monthly donor, and I really believe in monthly donations. Little bits go a long way when you're putting $20, $50, $100 of mine, of yours, of theirs, all together. It's a snowball effect. And not only does it say, we believe in you this month, it says, we believe in you next month, and your capacity to serve more people, to grow, and it builds more community. So I would love for people to learn a little bit more about One Just City.
Thank you so much. So many people waking up with a hot cup of coffee, other people waking up in a shelter, something to think about this morning.
Here's a look at the early markets this morning. The Dow Jones dropped 650 points. The Nasdaq is 500 points lower. The S&P index lost 108 points. The Canadian dollar increased slightly to 72.32 cents U.S. overseas. The Hang Seng dipped 76 points, and the Nikkei is down 592. Good morning. It is 6:46. Churchill, Manitoba is in the spotlight as the dispute over Greenland ramps up.
Only one port and one rail line that feeds the Arctic. And that would be absolutely essential for us to maintain sovereignty in Canada's Arctic, and that is at Churchill, and that is in Manitoba.
Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew says the growing tension over Greenland is more reason to have a fully developed port in the town of Churchill. The current port and rail line on the western shore of Hudson Bay are the only facilities that feed into the Arctic. Premier Kinew says there is only a short ice-free season for the port, and the long rail line through remote terrain needs upgrading. In November, Prime Minister Mark Carney did confirm funding for a study on the potential of specialized icebreakers, ice tugs, and research vessels at the port. The province is launching a new initiative to help beef up security at churches, synagogues, and mosques.
When somebody commits a hate crime, they're committing a crime against all of us as Manitobans. There is no place for hatred in our society.
Places of worship and cultural centers can now apply for funding to help cover the cost of security upgrades like lighting, cameras, alarms, and controlled entrances. The $1 million enhancement fund will work similar to the security rebate programs introduced for homes and businesses last year. The announcement comes just weeks after symbols of hate were spray painted on a synagogue, mosque, and high school in Winnipeg.
When you walk into your place of worship or your community center, you shouldn't have to worry about intimidation. You shouldn't have to worry about hate. We're seeing more and more acts of hate, of vandalism, and other acts across this country and here in our wonderful province as well.
The Kinew government also says it's establishing a security team to bolster community safety as part of the program. The province is accepting applications through email. You can find more details on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. We now know more details about Sunday's shooting in Oshawa, Ontario that left an officer and suspect injured. Police say the officer opened fire during the interaction, hitting another officer and the suspect. Police were responding to a mental health call. Police say the suspect was armed with a knife. The suspect has been arrested. He's facing assault and weapons possession charges. The officer was shot, is in stable condition. Health Canada has announced a national recall for a baby stroller officials describe as a choking hazard. The recall states the grab bar of the stroller is accessible to a child and contains foam material which may release small parts, posing a choking hazard. The 3-in-1 stroller, manufactured by the brand Infants, does not meet Canadian regulations. 270 strollers were sold in Canada over the past 2 years. No incidents or injuries have been reported. Pneumonia was one of the leading causes of death in 2024, but some experts say public health measures during the pandemic led to fewer cases of pneumonia.
The overall death rate from pneumonia dropped during COVID because of that. So we're probably seeing the rebound effect following all those public health measures in COVID. And, we're now having COVID, influenza, RSV circulate, and we're probably seeing a rebound effect from that.
A new report shows respiratory illness moved to the 6th leading cause of death with more than 7,000 deaths. That's up from being 8th the previous year. An ancient tradition is being celebrated at a new museum. The Samurai Museum has opened in Tokyo. Items on display span 700 years of history. Visitors can check out the displays, see live demonstrations, and even try on a few pieces of armor. Some of the workers at the museums are descended from samurai clans. They're hoping its popularity with visitors will spark more interest among people in Japan. So cool. Here's a look at some of the road closures that we're going to remind you about this morning following the rush on McPhillip Street. The southbound curb lane will be closed from Pritchard to Jarvis. On Selkirk Avenue, the eastbound curb lane will be closed between Van Horn and McPhillips. And on Lipton Street, the northbound curb lane will be closed from St. Matthews to Portage. If you see any issues out there, let us know, please.
It's a cold start to your morning. Very clear, though. You could do some stargazing if your breath doesn't get in the way. Minus 26 feels like minus 35 with winds out of the west, 11 kilometers per hour. The pressure falling, the humidity sitting at 77%. When I say your breath gets in the way, I just mean you're trying to look up and all the little vapor particles freeze and suddenly there's this fog around you and you can't even see what you're looking at. That exhaust fog will also be a factor on your drive to work this morning. So just keep in mind things might be moving a little more slowly out on the streets once again. As far as actual clouds go, there you can see them on the western side of the province, mainly through the southwest, with even a little bit of scattered flurry activity for the rest of northern and eastern Manitoba. The sky is actually on the clearer side, and we might even enjoy a bit of sunshine before those clouds eventually move in. And they will for many of us. Some might see a little more sunshine than others, and some might see a little bit of precipitation. Temperatures throughout the northeast today, low to mid minus 20s. Of course, the breeze factored in on top of that is currently making wind chill values in the northeast feel in the minus 40s. It might get a little bit better later today, but just make sure that you are properly bundled. As exposed skin, even though we're not under any extreme cold warnings, exposed skin can still freeze very quickly. It's just a technicality. We don't quite meet that criteria for the extreme cold. A couple of places along the western side where the clouds will build and the flurries will be falling. Southwestern Manitoba will see those clouds building up, but the temperatures might rise just a little bit higher. You're slightly milder to kick things off this morning than most of us are. We won't be quite as warm, topping out at about minus 17 today. Minus 13 is a normal daytime high, so you'll be a little closer to that further to the west of us and maybe a little further from that further to the east of us. A little more sunshine, though, expected to last a little bit longer in areas off to the east. We've got some heavier clouds for the next couple of days, and then those temperatures plummeting as the sunshine returns.
Thank you, Terry. One of Winnipeg's historic student-run magazines has documented Canadian musicians for decades, but now it's in danger of being discontinued. CTV's Alex Karpa explains why and how the staff is working hard to preserve its legacy.
The very first issue of Stylus magazine.
These magazines represent a blast from the past. The Stylus at the University of Winnipeg is one of the longest running student music magazines in the country. It's published by the university's Students Association, which has been printing these magazines since 1989. The magazine profiled several famous Canadian artists, including Sarah McLachlan, in its first edition in 1989. The magazine has continued to feature artists both locally and nationally since then. The school is now digitizing and archiving these magazines to ensure they aren't forgotten.
We're also scanning every issue page by page.
Almost the entire run of magazines dating back over 36 years have been preserved, with only 2 issues missing.
There are about 210 or so issues.
Digitizing and archiving hundreds of these papers here at the University of Winnipeg that span well over 3 decades comes at a time of uncertainty, as it is in danger of folding. Last year, funding dropped for the magazine due to a drop in enrollment at the university.
arts and culture is an area that is typically underfunded across Canada.
Brett Laheed says the magazine is an artifact of Winnipeg's cultural and heritage scene over the last several decades.
It gives an opportunity for students and new artists to share their work.
A new issue of the magazine was recently published, but Laheed says they only now have funding for 2 more issues in 2026, with the long-running magazine facing an uncertain future. Alex Karpas, CTV News, Winnipeg.
A selfless act of a young boy who, even when he had the chance to make any wish come true, used it to give back. CTV's Rahim Ladhani has more.
This is the moment Liam has been working towards for over a year, hanging out with his hockey idol, Toronto Maple Leafs captain Austin Matthews.
I was very excited and happy to meet him. I know he's been dreaming of this moment for a really long time. Austin Matthews is incredible. It's his hero.
You see, Liam loves hockey. He gets on the ice whenever he can, though it's sometimes challenging living with cystic fibrosis. He was first diagnosed with the respiratory disorder at 3 weeks old.
At the time, we had no clue that we were carriers of it, so it was really scary for me. But I mean, as you can see, he's grown up to be an amazing little boy.
And Dina's amazing 10-year-old is also selfless. And this is where Make-A-Wish Canada comes in. Known for creating life-changing wishes for children diagnosed with critical illnesses, the organization asked Liam what he wants. But instead of a vacation or a new toy, Liam wished for the chance to design custom skates and stick for the Leafs captain.
It just reminded me of Austin Matthews, and I wanted to be like him one day.
His heart is so full. He would literally give you the shirt off his back. So it doesn't surprise me that he wanted to do something special for his hero, Austin.
Oh, dude. Look at these things.
With the help of a custom designer from Calgary, Liam drew some of Matthews' favorite things.
The Toronto Maple Leafs, Austin Matthews' dog, and Carlton the bear.
I was supposed to use them as inspiration. When I saw the drawings, I was like, I'm just going to reproduce the exact drawing, and that's what's going to go on the skate.
After Liam gifted Austin Matthews with the custom pair of skates and stick, Liam was then surprised with a replica version of both just for him. And these skates are also signed by Matthews himself. Is there anything he said to you that was really special?
Yeah. He'll try to get as much goals as he can possibly for me.
And as Matthews tries to follow through on his promise, he'll be keeping Liam's favorite saying in mind.
Never give up.
Rahim Ladhani, CTV News.
Such a great kid. All right, here's the look outside right now on Osborne Street. Looks good so far this morning. We'll be right back after this with your 7 o'clock headlines. It's Tuesday, January 20th. Today, a call for transparency. Why the suspension of Gimli's mayor has left residents with questions. Plus, damage discovered when an inspection uncovered about a power outage in northern Manitoba. And an act of kindness, how one woman is helping reunite a family with a beloved stuffed animal. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Tuesday to you. It is 7 a.m. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. Now, there's a farmer in Virden that this is his 11th time competing in this championship. It's the World Livestock Auctioneer Championship. And he's going to join us at about 7:52 to tell us how he even got started in this whole thing. And maybe he'll even do some calling for us.
Oh, I would love that.
Yes.
Hey, little lady in the second row, she's not
Maybe you can do your weather.
Oh, do you know what? Auctioneering is one of those things that I've always kind of loved, but anytime I try, aside from that one song, it's like blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
I can't even think of the words that I would need to say.
Well, exactly. Your tongue must get so twisted. So we're going to find out how he became an auctioneer in the first place and what it takes to be one, and also if he's going to win. It's coming up this summer, so we're going to find out more about that as well.
Okay. But I kind of appreciate the challenge, though. We'll see if I get myself together. Maybe after they're on, I'll take a spin at it. Okay, outside this morning, it's minus 26. It feels like minus 30. What is that? I don't have my glasses on. I got to get closer. Okay, minus 35 is what it's feeling like. Winds, they're out of the west, 11 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 77%. The conditions clear this morning. Not likely to see that all throughout the day, though. There you can see along this eastern border and further to the east, northwestern Ontario will remain quite clear today, or at least a mix of sun and cloud. We're going to see these clouds building up. Milder, though, where the clouds are already hanging around. Anybody along that western side of the province is waking up to slightly milder temperatures than what we're feeling here on the eastern side. These clouds will continue to close in on us, becoming pretty overcast through the day today. Maybe even a few scattered flurries showing up for some into the evening time, and for us in the overnight hours. There you can see some activity just kind of passing through. Here's where we're getting a break today. It's not with the temperatures. I mean, they might be a little bit milder than yesterday, not by much though. The real break is actually coming with the winds on the lighter side throughout the day today, starting out of the west, shifting out of the southwest, but only up to about 15 kilometers per hour. It's a nice change up from the stronger winds we had over the past couple of days, or the winds that are coming back again, because by tomorrow, still with the heavier clouds and much stronger winds, and that temperature might get up to about minus 14 through the morning hours, midday, and then dropping off as those winds shift out of the northwest, getting very strong and gusty, ushering in a much colder air mass, and that's what we're going to be feeling throughout the rest of the week. Our art today is a big thanks to Ali. I love what you've done here. Grade 3, and this is beautiful. Lovely job. It makes the snow look a little bit more pleasant and serene. Anyway, keep the art coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at CTV.ca.
The Weather Art of the Day is brought to you by 103.1 Virgin Radio.
Interlake residents are calling for more transparency after Gimli Mayor Kevin Chudd was suspended for 7 days. A public notice from the RM says an investigation into misconduct found several founded allegations. But as CTV's Harrison Shin shows you, what the allegations were about isn't clear.
Snow wasn't the only thing swirling around Gimli Monday. Speculation hit the coffee shop as residents tried to work out what led to their mayor being suspended.
I feel that there's a lot of things going on here that really I've questioned and never got answers for.
Debbie Fakes has made Gimli her home for the last 9 years. She says she wants to know what led to Mayor Kevin Chudd's 7-day suspension and why the RM won't tell people like her what happened. She says it's hard to tell if the punishment fits the misconduct without more details.
Again, we don't know what he's done. And we don't know who came up with this weak thing.
It all started on Friday. A public notice was sent out saying an investigation into Chudd's conduct started in March 2025 after a complaint was made. The RM hired an independent investigator, and that report found, quote, several allegations were found to be founded. The investigation found, quote, cause for sanctions related to the conduct of the mayor and certain council members. Sanctions were imposed, including a formal apology from the mayor to the complainant, mandatory training for all council members, a full review of the code of conduct, and other policies. Messages and calls to Mayor Kevin Chudd have not been returned. Back at the coffee shop, residents like Daphne Marcuson continue to speculate.
Everybody's assuming it's all kinds of different things. If we definitely knew, people would know, but because of that, people are saying could be this, could be that. It's kind of upsetting that we don't really know what circumstance happened.
CAO DJ Sigmerson was not available for an interview but sent this response in part, saying the process is confidential under the law. Manitoba's council members' codes of conduct regulation under the Municipal Act requires investigator reports, evidence, and findings to remain confidential except for what council is permitted to disclose. This protects complainants, witnesses, and the integrity of the process. But for Debbie Fakes, what happens on council is everyone's business. She has a message for the RM.
We would like you to be as open as you can with us because, like I said, it's really, really devastating that we have to find out through a paper and through an article that our small town is going through this with a mayor that we all elected.
Harrison Shin, CTV News.
Under the province's Municipal Act, Mayor Chudd has the right to appeal, but the RM says given that the mayor is not active in his council duties, they cannot speak to his plans. There are new details about what may have led to a days-long power outage on a northern Manitoba First Nation. A preliminary examination by Manitoba Hydro has found firearm damage near the power line in Pimicikamak Cree Nation. The Crown-owned utility says an inspection of the wire that broke at the end of last month showed shotgun pellet damage to portions of the infrastructure, including the power line itself. But Hydro emphasizes it hasn't been determined definitively as to what caused the line to break. That said, it's warning hunters and firearm owners not to shoot at any electrical infrastructure. The First Nation was without power for about 4 days when a 300-meter-long power line running between two islands in the Nelson River broke. The power went out during a cold snap, resulting in ruptured pipes, the evacuation of more than 4,000 residents, and the deployment of the Canadian Armed Forces. Japan's Prime Minister has called a snap election. Sanai Taikachi took office 3 months ago after taking leadership of Japan's Liberal Democratic Party. She says an early election is needed so voters can give the next leader a mandate on spending, tax cuts, and defense. The election is set for February 8th, about 8 months early. A beloved stuffed sloth will soon be back in the loving arms of its owner here in Winnipeg, thanks to some help from a Canadian vacationing in Mexico.
Slothy has been in our family since my daughter was a baby.
Stacey Burridge's 5-year-old daughter Sage takes Slothy with her everywhere, including to Puerto Vallarta last week. But after a canceled flight, change of hotel, and rush to pack, the beloved toy was accidentally left behind. When the error was discovered, Stacey contacted the hotel and posted a request on Facebook asking Canadians still in Mexico if they could look for Slothy. The response was immediate, with Kelowna resident Susan Rollin walking over to the hotel and retrieving the stuffy from the front desk. Both Stacey and Susan say they're overwhelmed by the reaction.
It was crazy, just the outpouring of support.
I am blown away by the support, by the kindness, and how people are excited to see a happy story.
Slothy is currently lounging around at Susan's condo, and Sage is said to be excited he'll soon be heading home. The stuffy will be flying back to Manitoba with some other Canadians on Wednesday. 3 museums in Vancouver are trying out a new idea. It's called Pay What You Can, and it's meant to encourage more visitors by breaking down financial barriers. There are 3 museums taking part: the Museum of Vancouver, the Vancouver Maritime Museum, and the H.R. MacMillan Space Center. Pay What You Can will happen on the first Sunday of the month starting in February. Here's a look now at what's going on Portage Avenue. It looks like a smooth drive in this part of the city so far. If you have any traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us, please.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is in the Swiss ski resort of Davos to pitch Canada as an investment destination while he attends the World Economic Forum. Carney is set to meet today with French President Emmanuel Macron, who is chairing the G7 this year. That meeting comes in between a scheduled speech and participation in various meetings at the forum, where Carney will address heads of countries and corporations. Now, it also comes amidst U.S. President Donald Trump's threats of tariffs against European countries unless Denmark hands over Greenland. And that has security experts here sounding the alarm. Global security and defense experts warn Canada may no longer be able to rely on the U.S. as a reliable security and military partner. University of Calgary political scientist Robert Hubert says President Trump's recent text message to Norway's prime minister, in which he said he no longer felt an obligation to think purely of peace after not winning the Nobel Peace Prize, sounds like something a fictional Mad King would say. Wesley Wark with the Center for International Governance and Innovation says Trump's text sends the message NATO is entering the era of the unthinkable, where one member of the military alliance talks about attacking another. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
Thanks, Roger. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live with One Just City this morning. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning. And Rochelle, with that colder weather, there's a group of Winnipeggers right now inside Oak Table who just utilized the shelter space standing just adjacent to me here. And to think about that being a reality for so many Manitobans and agencies like One Just City helping them out, a truly inclusive space regardless of circumstances. They've got tons of programming, whether it be helping people get housing or for seniors, Indigenous programming, all things we're going to be learning about throughout the morning. Coming up at 7:27, we're going to be chatting with the interim executive director and alongside the new executive director.
Okay, thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. It's a cold start to the day.
Yes, but we're starting to see some improvements, so we're going to take that as a bit of a win. Not only is the temperature itself starting to rise, but the wind chill is starting to ease a little bit. That being said, you still need to throw all the extra layers on. We're still feeling
I want to say extreme cold, although technically there is no extreme cold warning, not throughout the entire province. All warnings have been lifted. Minus 26, feeling like minus 37. Oh, I think we've actually got an update for that. Anyway, never mind what the current temperatures are. We've actually boosted now to minus 25 with a wind chill value of minus 33. So that is a slight improvement from where we were last hour. And the winds, they've eased a little bit more. They're just 9 kilometers per hour. So that certainly made a bit of a change up with that wind chill factor, at least, even if the temperature only budged up by a degree. But we'll take a degree. You add a few more, and they make those impressive gains through the day. Although there's really no impressive gains that are going to be made, ending up in those mid to high minus teens throughout southern Manitoba. Northern Manitoba, some low minus 20s. That's as warm as it's going to get today, and there will be some heavier clouds. Already we're starting to see them moving in, and we'll continue to see them stacking up throughout the day. Might even see some flurries overnight and some slightly milder temperatures tomorrow, only through the morning hours. Stronger winds tomorrow afternoon, driving those temperatures back down.
Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Open late, ready when you are.
Well, it's time now for a question of the day. Today is National Disc Jockey Day, so our question is, what song do you put on repeat at your party? You can text your answer to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. And don't forget to include your name, please. At Your Morning Winnipeg, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets, furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions have been amazing, and we want to see more, whether it's dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals. Send them our way. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to petoftheweek@ctv.ca, and then catch us every Thursday to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on Your Morning Winnipeg. We're going to take a break here. We'll be right back. Good morning. An upgrade at Health Sciences Centre is helping speed up minimally invasive surgery for patients with brain tumors and other neurological conditions.
In this room, something special, almost magical happens.
The new Gamma Knife stereostatic radiosurgery equipment unit was unveiled on Monday. It provides focused gamma radiation on a tumor, allowing patients to undergo brain surgery with almost no incision. Officials say the upgraded system will allow HSC to treat more patients more efficiently and effectively.
U.S. Spree, patients often come in for their treatment before breakfast and return home for lunch. A dramatic change.
Imaging software within the machine means a patient can undergo an MRI days before instead of the day of treatment. The machine also provides flexibility to treat patients with larger and more complex tumors. Around 5,000 patients have undergone the treatment since the first Gamma Knife was introduced at HSC in 2003. Officials expect to treat 250 patients a year with the new system. It was funded through an HSC Foundation and provincial partnership. The city is looking for someone to provide 24-hour outreach services to those living in encampments. A request for proposals, now online, outlines a long list of responsibilities. It includes casework to help people quickly transition into safe housing, warning people about legal issues from occupying public land, providing safety checks and transfers to shelters, and helping to remove garbage. They would also need to report quarterly on how many people are living in encampments. The RFP states the city has about $387,000 available for the contract, which closes February the 10th. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers have locked up 3 more core pieces ahead of the 2026 CFL season. Right guard Pat Neufeld is back for a 12th season with the blue and gold. The offensive lineman is a 3-time CFL All-Star and a perennial leader in the Bombers' locker room. Meantime, kicker Sergio Castillo is back on a 2-year extension. He's coming off a 2025 season where he connected on 85% of his field goal attempts. And Castillo's punting counterpart, Jamison Sheehan, is also returning to the Bombers on a 1-year deal. All 3 players were slated to become free agents in February. The CFL regular season kicks off in June. Here's a look now at what's going on St. Mary's Road. It looks like things are slowly picking up in this part of the city, but overall we have no delays or crashes to tell you about at this point in the drive.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Open late, ready when you are.
Now in entertainment, we're getting a longer look at a new documentary on Paul McCartney's post-Beatles career.
1, 2, 3.
The Beatles have been my whole life, really. When we split up,
I thought, I'll never write another note of music ever.
Paul McCartney, Man on the Run, covers the ups and downs of his life after the Beatles, the formation of Wings, and his relationship with his late wife, Linda. The trailer features new clips of McCartney and archival footage. He also speaks of his strained relationship with John Lennon. The documentary starts streaming February 27th. Italian designer Valentino Garavani has died at the age of 93. His foundation announced his death, saying a funeral will take place on Friday. The designer, who was usually known only by his first name, was the founder of the famed Valentino brand, which he turned into a business empire. He was also the recipient of several awards and honors, including the Golden Plate Award of the American Academy of Achievement and the Medal of the City of Paris. New details are emerging about the arrest last week of Canadian actor Kiefer Sutherland. Sutherland was arrested after an alleged altercation with an Uber driver in Los Angeles. Law enforcement sources now say the driver is claiming Sutherland allegedly punched him multiple times and tried to choke him. The actor has yet to be charged, but is set to appear in court next month. A milestone has been reached for movie studio A24.
I don't think you understand the stakes here.
Find that funny? I get nervous laughter sometimes.
Marty Supreme, the drama starring Timothée Chalamet, has topped $80 million at the domestic box office. That makes it the best ever release by A24. The previous record holder was Oscar Best Picture winner Everything Everywhere All at Once with $77 million. Your Tuesday primetime lineup starts with Will Trent at 7. High Potential follows at 8. Catch the Rookie at 9. And Best Medicine wraps things up at 10. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
Okay, I'm always out of touch with entertainment news, but I did watch a little bit of the Golden Globes. Okay. And that guy that's on the Shark Tank TV show, Kevin O'Leary, thank you, Director Kim. I saw him in the audience and people kept making reference to him. I just saw him in that clip of the Timothée Chalamet?
That's probably why. I haven't seen the movie.
Is he in the movie now? Is this what's...
He is.
I'm just piecing this together now. I had no idea. Maybe I should stay more on top of my entertainment news, and then I wouldn't waste time on our show this morning being so gobsmacked
Well, we're
about...
learning together.
Okay. Maybe you're learning along with us at home, or maybe you're looking at me being like, Terry, that's old news. Anyway, either way, here's the news this morning, all regarding the weather, as we take a look through the CTV Live Eye, brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. It's cold. Like, we're not learning that together, Terry. We've known that. Yes, we have known that because we've been in this stretch of below seasonal temperatures, and this stretch is going to continue. We're getting just a slight bit of a break, but even this slight bit of a break isn't going to get us to what is normal for this time of year. We're going to remain below seasonal, even with a slight reprieve. So here we are starting out at minus 25 here in Gimli, right along this eastern border. Winnipeg, Gimli up in Fisher Branch, even colder up into the far north there. You can see minus 29 in Island Lake right now. It is slightly milder, more in the low minus 20s or high minus teens along this western border. You'll see in a second when I show you the satellite image, there's extra clouds, and clouds always give just a nice little cozy blanket of insulation, and it kind of tapers the extremes. So that's what you're dealing with this morning, is those clouds and slightly milder temperatures. Yes, cold, and that's before we're even factoring in the winds, which, by the way, will stay on the lighter side, but in those clearer spots, especially minus 40 wind chill values. Minus 33 is what it's feeling like right now, so that is eased somewhat from where we were feeling earlier this morning, and where those extra clouds are, again, slightly milder. That's the nice thing that we have to thank the clouds for. I know a lot of us would sometimes prefer to see the sunshine, but when it's sunny and clear, that's when we'll deal with our coldest temperatures. Minus 24 as kids are getting settled into the classroom. Heavier clouds through midday and into the afternoon as we climb to a high of minus 17. Minus 13 is a normal daytime high. We'll get closer tomorrow, but not quite. And then tomorrow afternoon, strong winds picking up. They'll remain light through the day today, but with those intense winds, those temperatures will be dropping off. What a beautiful shot this is. I mean, the sun dogs and then the little dogs right in the foreground there posing so pretty. Thanks to Christine. Thank you, Bailey and Tika, looking so cute. And keep those photos coming to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Thank you, Terry. One of the world's most extreme long-distance races has wrapped up for another year. The Pole of the Cold Winter Marathon in northeastern Russia saw runners battling temperatures around minus 41 degrees Celsius at the start. There were two races, one 50 kilometers and another the standard 42.2 kilometers. This region is among the coldest inhabited places on Earth. The winner of the ultra marathon did it in 3 hours and 28 minutes, while the marathon winner did it in 2 hours and 58 minutes, both red hot in the freezing cold. Prince Harry is in court in London this week as he and other celebrities, including Elton John, sue the publisher of the Daily Mail. ABC's Maggie Rulli has the details.
How are you feeling confident?
Prince Harry is back in the UK and in court, taking on the tabloids. Harry, alongside 6 other high-profile names, including Elton John and Elizabeth Hurley, suing Associated Newspapers, the publishers of the Daily Mail, for illegal information gathering. Arguing that back in the 1990s and early 2000s, the newspaper group paid private investigators to bug their homes and cars, listen in on their phone calls, even bribe police for sensitive information. Associated Newspapers denies all allegations, calling them preposterous, adding they are unsubstantiated and highly defamatory claims based on no credible evidence. Harry is due to testify later this week, a rarity to see a royal in court.
There's a lot riding on this case for Harry, money and reputation. He feels he has to continue with his fight. Otherwise, he would have not taken on all the main media outlets, and the Associated Newspapers are fighting all the way.
The prince has said his strained relationship with the press is one of the reasons he and his wife Meghan left royal life and moved to California back in 2020. That publicized step back from official duties also fracturing his relationship with his family.
I would love reconciliation with my family. There's no point in continuing to fight anymore. As I said, life is precious. I don't know how much longer my father has,
The king, when he met Harry and William, made it very clear that he thought taking on the press, the British press, was a suicide mission, which he feels, the king, could damage the relationship between press and monarchy.
Harry is currently in London, but this week both the king and Prince William are in Scotland, which could make a meeting between the family very difficult. We reached out to the palace and they have yet to respond. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, London.
Coming up, Ainsley McPhail is live with One Just City. They do important work, especially right now when it's this cold. Stay with us for more details. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's with One Just City this morning, and you're going to introduce us to some of the people who are part of the staff there. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, and a brand spanking new executive director, Rochelle. Good morning, Manitoba. I'm joined by the interim, Jen Biggs, and Craig Winans, who is the new executive director. Welcome to the show to both of you. Thanks for being here. So I guess you're passing on the torch to Craig.
Yes, definitely, and it couldn't go to better hands, that's for sure.
A lot of challenges, of course, that One Just City is facing when it comes to poverty. You guys are doing a lot in the community to help out, but what do you guys see right now?
Well, you name it. When someone comes to the door, we try to meet their needs as best as possible by helping them have a warm place to be, maybe a full belly, maybe an ear to listen, help them advocate for housing or not being evicted. So anything that comes in the door, we try to help them.
No doubt, and it's no easy task. When you hear that, obviously you're aware of it. What are your goals? What's your biggest hope?
Well, I'm super appreciative to have this opportunity to lead such a wonderful organization, and really the trust placed in One Just City. It's just a fabulous organization, and really, the organization was founded to strengthen and sustain social justice work across Winnipeg, and I'm super excited to really build on this foundation, the great foundation of work that the great programs and the great services that this organization offers, and I'm just really thrilled to be part of that moving forward.
On a personal level, I mean, you guys are doing such amazing work, right? How does it feel to know that you yourself are going to be leading and contributing to that?
I'm just thrilled. I spent the last 25 years working for the province, and I always really wanted to return to community and really give back to community in more of a direct, sort of genuine way. So I'm just thrilled to have this opportunity.
Okay, I'm sure you've been saying this for years as well. One last time, how can people donate?
Well, please go to our website. We have a concert coming up on the 23rd, and we have a race at the end of the month that I'm sure that some folks have talked about already, or they will. And so please go to our website and donate. We're always looking for monthly donors because that creates stability to our incoming dollars so we can keep the team around us.
It's not just any race, it's a triathlon. 8 o'clock hour, we'll fill you in on that.
Okay, sounds like fun. Thank you, Ainsley. Terry, driving in today, I saw Northern Lights.
Did you?
I did. They were very faint, but at first I thought they were just clouds moving, But no, they were northern lights because they disappear and then they come back. They were doing that sort of pulsing motion.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
What an experience to have as you're just making your drive, right? The things that we do that are so routine every day, and then all of a sudden Mother Nature gifts us something just a little unexpected, and it just causes you to kind of take pause for a moment and appreciate. Anyway, outside this morning it is very clear, so I mean the conditions would be great for the northern lights viewing. Minus 26 feels like minus 33 with a wind out of the west-southwest 9 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 77%. That clear sky has equaled some cold temperatures first thing this morning. Slightly more cloud coverage here along that western border and slightly milder temperatures to go along with that. We'll see these clouds building as the day goes on. But here's the nice thing about today. The winds will be on the lighter side all throughout the day, only up to about 15 clicks. It's a west or southwest wind that we can expect throughout the day. And minus 17, so we're still struggling to see those seasonal temperatures, but this might be a little bit milder than yesterday. Sure, we'll see those clouds building up, but a light breeze will be a nice break from those extremes. By the way, no extreme warnings throughout the province today. They have all been lifted, although I wouldn't be surprised if they'll be issued again in just a matter of days. Tonight we'll drop to minus 18, so barely off from what we're rising to. There will be a chance of flurries passing through, though, but those winds still remaining light overnight. Mercury continues to climb at least another few degrees through the morning hours, and then tomorrow we're going to see those winds shifting out of the northwest, at times gusting to 60 kilometers per hour. So I tucked that asterisk there, indicating that the temperatures will be falling throughout the afternoon, and then suddenly we're stuck in the deep freeze for the next, well, for the rest of the week. The weekend slightly milder, but still well below seasonal. That continues into next week.
Manitobans are locked in a deep freeze. This chill comes after a weekend of chaotic blowing snow and storms. The cold weather is putting a strain on shelters and vehicles.
We are seeing an increased number of individuals using our services. Because it is cold, we are actually seeing more frostbite.
The extreme cold is putting pressure on the shelter system as people try to escape the elements. The city of Winnipeg is also reminding people they can use public facilities to warm up when they're open. Environment and Climate Change Canada says Arctic air is moving in behind the systems that just rolled through and don't expect any relief this week. The cold is also hard on vehicles. CAA says as of midday Monday, they've had 630 calls for service, more than half of those for dead batteries.
As the cold weather kind of lingers and stays on, or the extreme cold weather, that we will be seeing those elevated call volumes come up just as more batteries start to fail.
To make sure your vehicle starts in this weather, CAA says plug it in if you can and park it inside if you are able. Although Manitoba Hydro says for safety reasons, you should never plug in if the vehicle is already parked inside a garage. CAA also recommends checking your battery's charging capability, as most have only a 3 to 5 year lifespan. 2 campsites in Australia are closed for now as officials investigating the death of a Canadian woman. A warning, the details in this story are disturbing.
I can report that there was a small pack of dingoes around the body at that time, and that they had been in contact with the young girl's body.
Police say the 19-year-old Canadian was found dead on a beach on Monday. This was in Gari, a popular spot for tourists in Queensland. The Canadian was going out for a swim before her body was found. As the officer said, there was a pack of dingoes near her body, but police won't say how the Canadian died before the investigation is done. Prime Minister Mark Carney and the Canadian delegation are in Davos this morning to pitch Canadian investment. That's happening as global tensions lurk in the background.
What people would want to see from Canada is talking to our allies, which we're doing, and making sure that we adopt the principled position.
That's Finance Minister Philippe François Champagne speaking to reporters. U.S. President Donald Trump is set to speak to the forum tomorrow. Reports say he wants to hold a signing ceremony at Davos for his Gaza Board of Peace, which may include Russian President Vladimir Putin. Minister Champagne says Canada is weighing its invitation but won't pay to join. Prime Minister Carney will meet with French President Emmanuel Macron later this morning.
Full solidarity with Greenland and the Kingdom of Denmark. The sovereignty and integrity of their territory is non-negotiable.
The president of the European Commission pledged support for Greenland during a special address at the World Economic Forum this morning. Despite the pushback, Ursula von der Leyen did say Europe is on the same page as the U.S. when it comes to Arctic security, which can only be achieved together. The U.S. Department of Justice is vowing to lay charges over an anti-ICE protest at a Minnesota church. Protesters interrupted a service at a St. Paul church where one of the pastors was identified as a possible ICE agent. The pastor targeted was not at the church that day. Department of Justice officials say it will go after protesters for civil rights violations. The department is also planning to a judge's order to limit how ICE controls crowds. Messy weather in the U.S. led to more than 100-car pileup on a major highway. This was in Michigan yesterday. The highway was blanketed in snow and then closed in both directions following the crash. Numerous injuries were reported. Major winter storm systems are moving across the U.S. with extremely cold temperatures and snow in several states, including Minnesota. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. Following the rush on McPhillips Street, the southbound curb lane will be closed from Pritchard to Jarvis. On Selkirk Avenue, the eastbound curb lane will be closed between Van Horn and McPhillips. And on Lipton Street, the northbound curb lane will be closed from St. Matthews to Portage. If you have other traffic tips, please text them to us. And here's a look now at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.26. The provincial average is lower at $1.19. In Winnipeg, the average is also $1.19. And the lowest price in the city is $1.07. All this information is on gasbuddy.com. Taking a look outside right now, it feels like, well, it's minus 26 and it feels like minus 33 with that wind chill. We'll be back after this with more Your Morning Winnipeg.
Chilly outside this morning, but we are starting to see some improvements. Minus 26 feels like minus 33 right now as winds out of the west-southwest are only 9 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 77%. Now, as far as the conditions go today, we will see the clouds building up. It was clearer first thing this morning. Rochelle was even talking about the northern lights that she saw on her way into work. Now some clouds are starting to move in. We'll continue to see them stacking up throughout the day today. With those clouds, there might even be a little bit of scattered precipitation for some. Up into northern Manitoba, let's talk about these temperatures today. No extreme warnings are in place today. I know yesterday we were waking up under that extreme cold warning. They've been lifted around the province today, but it doesn't mean it's going to be warming up much. Mid-minus 20s is as warm as it's likely to get for you as the day goes on. These are the expected highs, but you're waking up this morning to wind chill values in the low minus 40s throughout the northeast. Northwestern Manitoba, in fact, anybody along that western border, slightly milder temperatures to kick off your morning. As we rise today, you'll end up in those mid to high minus teens, around minus 14 the average here through the southwest. This is the closest that we'll see anybody getting to seasonal values. Minus 13, by the way, is a normal daytime high. So close through the southwest. Not quite, still a few degrees off the mark over here in the southeastern part of the province. Heavier clouds will continue to stack up through the day. Further to the east of us, you might still see a little more of that sunshine. Temperatures quite similar to ours in those high teens, mid-teens, minus teens, I should say. Tomorrow, as close as we can expect to get to those seasonal temperatures. I mentioned minus 13 being normal, but into the afternoon, temperatures will be dropping off. Strong winds increasing throughout tomorrow. And once we slide into the deep freeze, we're going to stay there. Certainly so for the next couple of days or for the rest of this week. And then only slightly below seasonal. No, still well below seasonal, but not as cold as the end of the week.
Thank you, Terry. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's with One Just City this morning. And there's lots going on when it's this cold outside. Good morning.
Good morning. And even hearing the weather forecast and then coming in to our broadcast and talking about homelessness and the folks who are living rough outside, looking for housing, One Just City is really trying to fill those gaps. So Grace Bashir joins us, Harvey Heather on my right. Thank you for being here, guys. When it comes to housing, what is One Just City doing in order to help out the folks on the street?
Yeah, so our community members, they come in for a drop-in, and we have conversations about housing, where they're currently staying, what they're looking for, and how we can support them, not just in housing and placing them in housing, but doing the overall support, making sure we assist them with furnishing, any rental arrears, and just making sure we are setting them up for success and not just, kind of leaving them housed and that's it. So we make sure that we continue the relationship going. We check in with them as well. We have conversations with landlords, making sure that their relationship between tenant and landlord is stable and everything is good. So within our housing program, our biggest focus is just making sure that we are placing them in housing and keeping them there so that they don't end up back on the streets or encampments or in shelters.
So it's such a complicated question for me to ask. So thank you for answering it so eloquently. This really is a community effort, and you guys have various programming. Maybe give us a little bit of a list.
Sure. So we have all kinds of different programs. Basically, a lot of our folks don't have vehicles. They don't have a way to get around. They may not have phones, that kind of thing. So we try to bring as many resources, activities, and programs into our sites. So we have things like yoga, chiropractor. We have EIA support. CRA comes once in a while. We have vaccine clinics in our sites. All kinds of partnerships also with University of Manitoba fourth-year nursing students. We have social workers that come from CMU. So we look into our community to build as many relationships as possible to support all the needs of our guests.
I personally love the Indigenous programming and the stuff for seniors as well. We're almost at a time, so I do want to say Music to Warm Our Hearts. That is the name of the concert, and what brings people together more like an annual concert. Back to you.
Thank you, Ainsley. A warning if you're traveling to the Toronto area to be on the lookout for counterfeit bills circulating in the city. Police say criminals have produced fake 20s and 50s, but now more fake $100 bills are also ending up in circulation. CTV's Pat Foran reports.
Trailers Ontario has 4 locations in the province selling cargo trailers for various applications. A customer recently bought one at their Mississauga site and paid for it in part with counterfeit money.
When did you find out that the cash was counterfeit?
First thing Monday morning.
Owner Nadir Verji says the customer wanted to pay for the trailer in cash.
A customer came to us last week, purchased a trailer for $12,200, and he ended up slipping in $6,200 in counterfeit money.
Frustrated he'd been scammed out of $6,200, Verji called Peel Police. They're continuing to investigate, but the man who handed over the cash was not arrested. As he said, he got the fake $100 bills from someone else when he sold a trailer.
The police told me that it is a civil matter since he paid half in legitimate currency and half in fake currency.
To avoid counterfeit money scams, avoid large cash transactions if possible. If a cash payment is required, complete the transaction at a financial institution. Do not accept money you believe may be counterfeit, and do not attempt to use counterfeit currency as it's a criminal offense.
They seem to be a bit on the rise right now, especially with, as is always the case, the larger denominations, the $100 bills.
Toronto police say they've noticed a huge increase in fake bills since the beginning of the year.
We've already seen almost $50,000 in counterfeit money that's been turned in and that's been reported to us.
Feel, look, and flip.
For more information on spotting counterfeit notes, you can check the Bank of Canada's website.
Tilt the note to make sure the metallic portrait and building change colors.
As for Verji, he's frustrated he may have to go to small claims court to get his money back. He says his company is now taking more steps to try and spot counterfeit currency.
We did purchase money counters right now for all our locations, and I've told my entire team to double check every bill.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Let's see who's celebrating a milestone today. Happy 66th birthday, Les, with love from your wife, Wilma. Happy birthday, Atlee. Love Grams, Papa, and your Ontario family. And a happy 76th birthday, Stan, from all the grandchildren. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Milestones is brought to you by Party Stuff, Winnipeg's balloon headquarters with 3 locations.
All right. right, expecting a high of minus 17 today, which will still keep us below seasonal. Minus 13 would be normal for this time of year. Last year, we only got to minus 27.9. That record, though, doesn't that seem like a dream? 5.0 degrees all the way back in 1908. Got to go a ways back for that, but still 5 degrees. We are going to be nowhere near that. This is going to be one of the colder weeks that we've had so far, especially with where we're headed toward the end of this week. The next couple of days will be the mildest of this week, but even that won't get us to the seasonal values or what you would expect for this time of year. It's minus 25 right now, and it feels like minus 33 with that wind, which thankfully is on the lighter side, only a 9K wind out of the west-southwest. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 77%. It's bright enough now. I mean, the sun isn't up. It won't be up till about 17 past 8, but I can see the few extra clouds that are starting to move in now. So it's kind of that race against time of how many more clouds will move in before the sun is up and whether or not we see that sunshine today, because throughout midday and the afternoon, it is likely to be on the cloudier side. Cooler, too, with these below seasonal temperatures. Along the western border, you might be a few degrees milder and closer to those seasonal temperatures. Here in the southeast, mid to high minus teens expected, and then not dropping off much overnight and rising another few degrees tomorrow. That'll be the closest that we get to seasonal before those temperatures fall throughout the afternoon as strong winds increase.
A Verdun man is going once, going twice, going for the 11th time to the World Livestock Auctioneer Championships. Dubbed the Stanley Cup of Auctioneering, Brendan Jack is one of 10 competitors vying for the title and the considerable bragging rights in South Dakota this June. And he joins us now. Good morning, Brendan. Can you hear me, Brendan?
Yeah, you bet. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much for being with us. This is very exciting. Let's start at the beginning. How did you even get into auctioneering?
Well, I started when I was 9 years old. I guess I was making the sounds before I could really talk, and was conducting sales at home. So, yeah, when I finally was 9 years old, got brave enough to sell my first horse, and I guess the rest is history.
So you started competing when exactly?
I started competing in 2007, and that led to my first job offer with the company that I have worked for the past 18 years.
Now, this is something that's pretty hard to do for most people. How do you find it so easy?
Well, I guess it's the same as if somebody can play the violin or play the piano or whatever. I think the people that really have that hidden talent, I guess I was born with it and just ran with it. So it's hard to answer that question, but I'm thankful for the gifts that I've gab, I guess.
Well, that is very cool. How are these competitions judged exactly? What will you expect at this competition?
You know, the competitions are just a really great thing to do. I started competing them to try and better myself and get job offers. And then as, of course, I progressed in my career, won the Canadian Championships, won the Calgary Stampede International Championship, and started to just become friends with other auctioneers all across North America. And now I have my goals set on basically the biggest one there is, and that's the World Livestock Auctioneer Championship. And I'm honed in on trying to win that pickup truck in 2026.
Now, you've been to this championships 11 times before, is that right?
Yeah, this is the 11th time that I'll be competing at the World Championship. I've been 10 times previously, gotten very, very close. I was runner-up champion in 2014 and was reserve world champion. I was second place last year, so I'm getting very, very close to the pickup truck.
Wow, what is it like competing at that kind of level?
You know, competing at that kind of level is everybody that's there is good. There's 31 contestants competing, and anyone can win the World Championship. So you really have to be operating at a high level, really have a good interview. It's a two-part competition where the first day you compete with an interview contest where we're all sequestered. They take away our phones and smartwatches, and one at a time we go up in front of 300-400 people, and they ask us the same industry-related questions. And then the next day we have a cattle sale, and hopefully the best guy wins.
Well, being from Canada, being from Manitoba, what sets you apart from the other competitors there?
You know, I've practiced a lot over the years. People always ask me, well, how did you, you know, get to be as good as you are? You know, I had great opportunities with the company that I worked for here at Heartland Livestock. And when I was 17, 18, 19 years old, I was driving around selling 5 days a week, you know, selling more cattle than just about anybody in Canada. And being able to hone my craft at a young age and being able to ask questions and lean on people that I respected about how I could hone my craft really made it a lot easier for me. So I just got miles on me. By the time I was 25, I had the selling experience of most guys in their 50s.
Wow.
So that made a huge difference. If you want to do anything in this world, practice makes perfect.
Well, let's practice to the next segment. Can you throw us into the next segment quickly?
25 minute and 15, 75 minute and 100, 1 minute and 2 quarter and a half.
Brennan, thank you so much, and best of luck to you in June. We're rooting for you.
Thanks so much.
Take care.
Hey there, Lindsay Hamilton inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Monday. For it, we're taking a trip to the Windy City. It's the Jets and Blackhawks. Chicago power play here, and Oliver Moore's shot deflects to Connor Bedard, and he is simply robbed by Connor Hellebuck. Bedard looking at the open net until the glove of Hellebuck arrives to steal that goal away, earning your must-see moment from Monday. That is a real nice grab. Meanwhile, tonight on TSN, it is early round play from the Australian Open continuing. Coverage begins 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. That's all for now from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a tremendous Tuesday.
The TSN Must-See Moment is brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, featuring Hunter Douglas products.
It's Tuesday, January 20th. Training in respect and resolution is on order for counselors in one Interlake community. No word yet, though, on why or on what led to the mayor's temporary suspension. Our Arctic Advantage. World events have politicians and business leaders freshly focused on the future of Manitoba's ocean port. And Pickle on Parade. This carnival in Bolivia celebrates the annual return of a beloved, though mischievous, green visitor. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning. It's 8 o'clock on your Tuesday. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. We have a lot in the next hour for you, including the Sisters of Holy Rock. They have been performing and helping organizations raise money for 30 years, but right now they're in trouble. They're actually in need of help themselves, and if they don't get the help they need, they might have to dissolve. So we're going to find out what they need and what you could do to support them. Also at 8:45, Game Manitoba is back. It's this massive board game competition. It happens over 3 days in Winnipeg. We're going to find out more on some of the popular games that'll be there, as well as some of the fun that you can have if you check it out for yourself.
Ooh, that is exciting.
And you'll want to be inside because it's going to be cold anyway.
Yeah, it sure is. Now, we just heard from an auctioneer, and then Carrie, our floor director here, challenged me to call the weather. So let's give it a go. Minus 25, minus 25. That's what we're sitting at right now is minus 25, minus 33. Wind chill value. Do you want a minus 33? We like a minus 32, but we don't get a minus 32. Minus 33 is where we're sitting right now. Winds right now out of the west-southwest. They're 9 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling, and that humidity sitting at 77%. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, all right, back to this now. Clear conditions along the eastern side of the border, but they're already starting to close in with these heavier clouds that are going to be building up throughout the day. Once you get that pattern going, it almost comes through. Maybe I've got a new career ahead of me. Anyway, the clouds are going to be building up throughout the day today, and then we're going to be seeing pretty much cloudy conditions across the province. There might even be some scattered flurries in there off and on throughout the day. If we don't see those flurries through the daytime, many of us will be at risk of seeing them passing through in the overnight hours. Heavier clouds still hanging around overnight. Light winds throughout the day today and overnight as well. Tomorrow, those winds, they're coming back in a very big way. Tomorrow, the temperatures might rise a little bit higher, at least through the morning hours. That'll be the closest that we're going to get to seasonal temperatures, and then they're going to be falling off throughout the afternoon. So minus 13, I mentioned that being a normal daytime high. We'll get up to about minus 14 tomorrow morning, plummeting through the afternoon. From there, much colder weather is expected through the latter part of the week. And the weekend, well below seasonal, not quite as shocking as the last couple of days this week will be, but still below seasonal as we continue through the start of next week. Allie, thank you. I love the art that you're sharing with us today, making the snow look so serene and playful. grade 3, and we appreciate what you've done. Very talented. Keep the pictures coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
The Weather Art of the Day is brought to you by 103.1 Virgin Radio.
Thank you, Terry. Good work. Questions are swirling in the Interlake Monday after the mayor of Gimli was suspended. Late Friday, we learned Kevin Chudd was suspended for 1 week, but it's not known why. A formal complaint regarding Chudd's conduct was filed last March. That led to an independent investigation, and now the RM of Gimli says several allegations were, quote, found to be founded. As a result, Chudd, who was elected in 2022, has been suspended from all mayoral duties for 7 days with pay. The RM's council has also ordered Chudd to apologize to the complainant. However, details of the formal complaint weren't disclosed in the RM's public notice, and that's rubbing some Gimli residents the wrong way.
No disclosure. Everybody's assuming it's all kinds of different things. If we definitely knew, people would know, but because of that, people are saying could be this, could be that. It's kind of upsetting that we don't really know what circumstance happened, and also that the council, the current council, are the ones that make the decision as what kind of sanctions will be in place and what should be done.
The RM's council passed a resolution to impose Chudd's suspension last Monday. Additionally, all members of council must participate in respectful workplace and conflict resolution training. Gimli's deputy mayor is serving as head of council in Chudd's absence. Churchill, Manitoba is in the spotlight as the dispute over Greenland ramps up.
Only one port and one rail line that feeds the Arctic, and that would be absolutely essential for us to maintain sovereignty in Canada's Arctic, and that is at Churchill, and that is in Manitoba.
Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew says the growing tension over Greenland is more reason to have a fully developed port in the town of Churchill. The current port and rail line on the western shore of Hudson Bay are the only facilities that feed into the Arctic. Premier Kinew says there is only a short ice-free season for the port, and the long rail line through remote terrain needs upgrading. In November, Prime Minister Mark Carney did confirm funding for a study on the potential of specialized icebreakers, ice tugs, and research vessels at the port. The province is launching a new initiative to help beef up security at churches, synagogues, and mosques.
When somebody commits a hate crime, they're committing a crime against all of us as Manitobans. There is no place for hatred in our society.
Places of worship and cultural centers can now apply for funding to help cover the cost of security upgrades like lighting, cameras, alarms, and controlled entrances. The $1 million enhancement fund will work similar to the security rebate programs introduced for homes and businesses last year. The announcement comes just weeks after symbols of hate were spray painted on a synagogue, mosque, and high school in Winnipeg. Carnival season is underway in Bolivia's capital in a quirky way. La Paz launched 40 days of Carnival with the traditional exhumation of cucumber. It's a ritual around the rebirth of the city's iconic, mischievous character. Hundreds of people came out for a mock funeral procession carrying Pino's purple coffin through the streets, led by the municipal band and the mayor. Here's a look now at what's going on in the traffic situation along McPhillip Street. It looks like things are picking up over here and overall moving quite well. We have no issues to tell you about at this point in the traffic. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at One Just City this morning. We're learning a lot about what they do and how they're having some fundraising events coming up as well. Tell us more.
Rochelle, Bonjour, Anin, which is hello in Ojibwe. I rarely get nervous for this show, but I was nervous to say that because I really didn't want to get it wrong. Borden is an excellent teacher, though. As you mentioned, there's a lot of events coming up. You're going to have to head to the website as well to learn all about it. We're chatting about Indigenous programming. Good morning, Borden.
Hi.
How'd I do?
Good.
Okay, good. You guys, you're teaching language through activity. Tell us about some of those at One Just City.
Okay, One Just City, we provide cultural awareness to the community. It's a community-led initiative. So in our Indigenous cultural programs that I facilitate, I'll facilitate Indigenous bingo, Anishinaabe Muwin, and I teach the language there in the bingo so that it interconnects with our other Indigenous cultural programs like the drumming. If you learn the language in the bingo, then you can learn how to sing the songs. And then also the other programs that I facilitate are with the men's empowerment group called Muskowsey Away Win, which is inclusive to Two-Spirit people. There I lay down a lot of knowledge and foundational knowledge with the medicine wheel and our ways of knowing, which then also helps with our sharing circles that we try to look through a trauma-informed lens when we're healing within the community. We work with our non-Indigenous and Indigenous people in the community that embrace our culture, right? So, yeah, I love doing that for the community. And we also do a lot of crafts. We also work with other Indigenous health providers like Knowledge Keepers, lodges. We have elders that come and help in the community. Our staff also participate in a lot of other community events that are Indigenous-led. So, yeah, that's great.
That's so beautiful. Unfortunately, we're out of time. I wish we could get into more questions. Thank you. He didn't teach me how to say thank you, so I'm just going to say it like this. But miigwech?
Yeah.
Miigwech. Back to you.
Merci. One of Winnipeg's historic student-run magazines has documented Canadian musicians for decades, but now it's in danger of being discontinued. CTV's Alex Karpa explains why and how the staff is working hard to preserve its legacy.
This is the very first issue of Stylus magazine.
These magazines represent a blast from the past. The Stylus at the University of Winnipeg is one of the longest running student music magazines in the country. It's published by the university's Students Association, which has been printing these magazines since 1989. The magazine profiled several famous Canadian artists, including Sarah McLachlan, in its first edition in 1989. The magazine has continued to feature artists both locally and nationally since then. The school is now digitizing and archiving these magazines to ensure they aren't forgotten.
We're also scanning every issue page by page.
Almost the entire run of magazines dating back over 36 years have been preserved, with only 2 issues missing.
There are about 210 or so issues.
Digitizing and archiving hundreds of these papers here at the University of Winnipeg that span well over 3 decades comes at a time of uncertainty, as it is in danger of folding. Last year, funding dropped for the magazine due to a drop in enrollment at the university.
Arts and culture is an area that is typically underfunded across Canada.
Brett Laheed says the magazine is an artifact of Winnipeg's cultural and heritage scene over the last several decades.
It gives an opportunity for students and new artists to share their work.
A new issue of the magazine was recently published, but Laheed says they only now have funding for 2 more issues in 2026, with the long-running magazine facing an uncertain future. Alex Karpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The CTV Live Eye brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. What a stunning sky once again. I will say it's been cold for the past couple of days, but when we get sunrises that look like this, suddenly I don't mind, especially when I'm on this side of the glass, staying nice and warm in the studio and staring out at that gorgeous sky. Minus 25 is where we're sitting right now, feeling like minus 33. Winds out of the west-southwest, 9 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 77%. So yes, Winnipeg sitting at minus 25. We're actually just seeing now that change up this hour, minus 23. So it is beginning to warm up, and we're starting to see, like I said, a little bit of sunshine out there. Not technically, 8:17 is official sunrise, but the glow this morning is looking gorgeous. We are still seeing these slightly milder temperatures all along this western border, and then slightly cooler where it's been somewhat clearer this morning, right up into northern Manitoba with these high minus 20s and even a low minus 30. That's before you're factoring in the winds, and the winds aren't even that strong, but they do have a bit of a bite, especially here in the northeast. Low minus 40s is what it's feeling like, and we're still feeling like minus 32 this morning, even though the temperature is starting to increase. Clouds are also starting to increase, and you can see that here on the satellite image, coming with them a little bit of light flurry activity just in that very southwestern corner. We will continue to see the clouds building up. The temperatures on the rise, just not quite to seasonal values. -13 would be normal for this time of year. We'll get to about -17, maybe even do a little bit better tomorrow, up to -14, but tomorrow those winds will be strong and increasing again, driving those temperatures down through tomorrow afternoon, and then keeping us stuck in the deep freeze as we continue through the rest of the week. We're taking a break, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is in the Swiss ski resort of Davos to pitch Canada as an investment destination while he attends the World Economic Forum. Carney is set to meet today with French President Emmanuel Macron, who is chairing the G7 this year. That meeting comes in between a scheduled speech and participation in various meetings at the forum, where Carney will address heads of countries and corporations. Now, it also comes amidst U.S. President Donald Trump's threats of tariffs against European countries unless Denmark hands over Greenland. And that has security experts here sounding the alarm. Global security and defense experts warn Canada may no longer be able to rely on the U.S. as a reliable security and military partner. University of Calgary political scientist Robert Hubert says President Trump's recent text message to Norway's prime minister, in which he said he no longer felt an obligation to think purely of peace after not winning the Nobel Peace Prize, sounds like something a fictional Mad King would say. Wesley Wark with the Center for International Governance and Innovation says Trump's text sends the message NATO is entering the era of the unthinkable, where one member of the military alliance talks about attacking another. Those are your morning business headlines. For B&M Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
For over 30 years, the Sisters of the Holy Rock have spread their divine and downright delightful music throughout Manitoba, all while helping local organizations raise much-needed funds. And while in the habit of helping others, the group now needs a little help of their own in the form of a new director to keep the heavenly harmonies going for many more years to come. Joining us now to share more on this are Lynn Olson and Lainey Richer, President and General Manager of the Sisters of the Holy Rock. Good morning, sisters.
Good morning, Rachel.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, let's take it back to 33 years ago when this all began. What is it that started it all, and what are you exactly?
Well, we're a variety performance group that does between a 75 and 90-minute long variety show. It encompasses some more serious numbers involving four-part harmony. We have both men and women in the choir. Some solo numbers, some small group numbers, some fast-paced comedy numbers, some more serious numbers. And we're very, very focused on trying to help organizations raise money. 33 years ago, it started out as a little skit for a Catholic church dinner. And the lady who founded us, Carol Stone, the skit was very well received, and she started getting requests to do the show in other venues, and that's sort of how the Sisters were born. Yeah.
Wow! And then 33 years later, you're still here. You're still entertaining. Over those 33 years, you've helped raise $4 million. Tell us about that and how good it feels.
It's great. I mean, when we're out there performing, we get to see the joy on everybody's face, and we know that we're doing something good because we've been hired for a certain purpose, whether it's to help put a roof on a church or whatever. I mean, it could be to help someone who's lost everything in a fire. So it just feels really, really good to be able to know that you've helped that way.
But now you're in need of help yourselves. Tell us what is going on.
We are. So the lady who founded us, Carol Stone, we call her affectionately Reverend Mother. She passed away 3 years ago, and our assistant director, who'd been with us for many years, assumed the reins of the choir, and she has now had to step away because of illness as well. So we have an interim director for our spring shows, but to go forward and continue doing this, we really need a director that can It's sort of a multifactorial position. You don't just direct the choir, so it does require a huge amount of musical knowledge and prowess because you are directing a large choir. But they also MC the show. They do a bit of comedy, and the assistant director that took over actually sang a song. So that we don't necessarily need all of that in one person. If we could get it and they had a musical theater background, that would be nirvana, that would be perfect. But we certainly are willing to look at workarounds. Perhaps we might just put some of those characters into the show and the director can just direct the choir. Right. We're pretty flexible as to what we are able to do, even perhaps a man, even though we've always had a Reverend Mother. We're not gender biased at all. We could always have an Archbishop. But our ability to go forward and continue performing is really hinged on finding an individual that's willing to take us on.
So if someone's watching right now and they're thinking, hey, that sounds like something I could do, what do you want them to do?
There is a website, sistersoftheholyrock.com. Probably nobody has a pen handy, but they can certainly contact myself. My phone number is 204-612-7850, or go through the contact us portion of the Sisters of the Holy Rock website. What we have done with individuals that have been interested before is had them come to a show and actually see what we do. But there is a fair amount of information on the website for people to refer to if you're interested.
And of course, we also have a link on our website. So if this is right up your alley, the Sisters of the Holy Rock certainly need you. Thank you so much, ladies, for sharing this
thank
with
you
us.
for having us. Much appreciated.
Good luck.
All right, that did look a good time, so would love to see that fun continue if somebody wants to step up. Okay, out here, if you're going to be stepping out, you're going to need to bundle up because it is a chilly start to your morning, although we are making some, I was going to say impressive gains. No, just moderate gains. We're sitting now at -23, which is finally bang on normal. We had been as low as -28 earlier on this morning. -32 is what it feels like once you're factoring in that wind out of the southwest. It is on the lighter side, 13 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling, the humidity sitting at 76%. Sun is up now. We're not going to be seeing too much of it because I can already see the heavier clouds beginning to build up, and that will continue to happen throughout the day today. So increasing cloud, temperatures getting a little bit warmer than they were yesterday, but still not making it to seasonal values. -13 would be normal for this time of year, and instead mid to high teens expected throughout much of southern Manitoba. Low -20s across northern Manitoba. The far northeast actually still has some wind chills in those -40s, so some places you need to bundle up a little more so than others. But I will tell you that all of the warnings have lifted. Yesterday we were under those extreme cold warnings, and that's not the case today. However, wouldn't be surprised to have them issued in just a couple of days' time, because those temperatures will be plummeting as they drop tomorrow afternoon. I love this shot of a couple of sun dogs, the beauty in the background, but the two cuties in the foreground there. Thank you to Christine. That's Bailey and Tika we're looking at. Keep the pictures coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Weather is brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful. Our new Hunter Douglas showroom is at 900 Lorimer.
Good morning. A partnership between two Saskatchewan-owned businesses is giving people an opportunity to get outside with sled dogs and a sauna. CTV's Hallie Mandrick has more.
In a unique combination of events, visitors of Blackstrap Provincial Park had the opportunity to enjoy some adventure, followed by some relaxation over the weekend.
I thought it would be a really great collaboration to offer a sled dog and then a sauna after, because sometimes it can be really cold when you're dog sledding, and then I thought it'd be really amazing for guests to come after and sauna.
The experience started with an opportunity to travel through the park's trails on a dog sled.
Feeling we have traveling down the trail, it's quiet, you hear the sound of the runners, the sound of the dogs, the rhythm of the team. It's just a beautiful thing to watch, and you kind of get mesmerized in it all, and it's peaceful.
That adventure also included a bit of education, with the guides sharing some of the challenges that come along with assembling a dog sled team.
Getting to know all the dogs and knowing their strengths and weaknesses, their characters, and like some really like certain positions to run in, some really like to go in lead, some are more better in team, and yeah, growing closer with the dogs and then knowing that we can run with them for a very long time.
And of course, before leaving to their sauna, guests gave the dogs a well-deserved treat for their hard work. This marks the third season which the sauna and sledding combination has been offered, and Bouvier says it's a good way to enjoy Saskatchewan's colder months.
I mean, in the winter, our winters are long and cold, and we like to be warm and cozy. And also, sauna is just really great for the mind, the body, the soul as well. So many great benefits.
Hallie Mantrick, CTV News, Blackstrap Provincial Park.
There is a story behind a door attached to a tree surrounded by more than a dozen dinosaurs. And CTV's Adam Sawatsky has it.
Long before a crowd started congregating around their tree trunk, Linda and Brian Fraser say a fairy door appeared.
I think we just wanted to make people smile.
Not only were the fairies a source of delight for their daughters, they're decorating to celebrate Halloween, Christmas, and Canada Day, even rolling out a red carpet for the Academy Awards, captured the imagination of countless other kids in the community.
So they write these little tiny notes, and the fairies would generally write back.
After inspiring smiles for years, you can imagine how they felt when they woke up one morning to find that all of it, including the door, was gone.
And so there was this big gaping wound in the base of the tree.
And we were just devastated. It really was quite awful.
But it also proved to be quite an opportunity for their daughters to learn about resilience.
Something bad might happen, but that doesn't mean that's the end of something.
Linda and Brian decided to rebuild even better.
Because otherwise the vandal would have won.
Along with constructing a more robust new door, they welcomed a whole new set of neighbors.
We had a whole herd of dinosaurs outside of the fairy door.
The dinosaurs dominated for almost a decade, surviving their version of the Ice Age, joining in seasonal celebrations, and inspiring the locals to rename it the Dino Door, until one afternoon, they too all disappeared.
So that was enormously disappointing.
Although they posted this plea on social media asking for the reptiles to be returned, they never were. Instead, strangers who frequented the Dino Door began dropping off donations.
They wouldn't leave like a note saying, here's a dinosaur for you. They would just appear and be part of the herd.
And now, Linda and Brian couldn't be more grateful that more than a dozen dinosaurs are flourishing in this magical menagerie, a testament to resilience, kindness, and joy.
It's a very healthy thing for humans to be a bit silly every day, and I think that's part of what this door does for our neighborhood.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
We have a traffic note to share with you at Kenaston near Northtown Road. There is a car stalled in the northbound, and so that means the middle lane is blocked, so you're going to have to go around that area. If you see any other issues, let us know. We'll be right back after this.
Minus 23 and a beautiful sky that we're waking up to this morning almost makes you forget how cold it feels out there. But the wind chill value is sitting still at minus 32 with a 13K wind out of the west or out of the southwest. The pressure falling and the humidity at 76%. We are finally at seasonal low temperatures sitting at minus 23 right now, but we were at minus 28, and it's the gains that we've made already today that give us a little bit of hope, and the gains that we'll continue to make that'll get us at least a little bit closer to seasonal, more so than we've been over the past couple of days. Fairly clear conditions along this eastern border, cloudier off to the west, and we'll continue to see these clouds building up throughout the day today. Parts of northern Manitoba has been waking up to wind chill values in the minus 40s this morning, especially in the northeast. That being said, though, no extreme cold warnings issued throughout the province. They've all been lifted. We did have some in place yesterday. That is no longer the case, but I wouldn't be surprised if in a couple of days' time those warnings are issued all over again. But for today and tomorrow, we are getting closer to seasonal. Not quite getting to that minus 13 that's normal for this time of year, but a high today of minus 17 with a light wind out of the southwest, and that wind remaining light overnight. We're only going to lose a degree down to minus 18, but that chance of flurries moves through in the overnight hours. And then tomorrow we'll rise a couple of degrees to about minus 14, and then those winds shifting out of the northwest will get up to about 60 kilometers per hour. Suddenly minus 14 starts to drop off through the afternoon, and that'll get us back into the deep freeze again when we'll likely see those warnings issued as we're looking at cold days ahead.
Manitobans are locked in a deep freeze. This chill comes after a weekend of chaotic blowing snow and storms. The cold weather is putting a strain on shelters and vehicles.
We are seeing an increased number of individuals using our services. Because it is cold, we are actually seeing more frostbite.
The extreme cold is putting pressure on the shelter system as people try to escape the elements. The City of Winnipeg is also reminding people they can use public facilities to warm up when they're open. Environment and Climate Change Canada says Arctic air is moving in behind the systems that just rolled through and don't expect any relief this week. The cold is also hard on vehicles. CAA says as of midday Monday, they've had 630 calls for service, more than half of those for dead batteries.
As the cold weather kind of lingers and stays on, or the extreme cold weather, that we will be seeing those elevated call volumes come up just as more batteries start to fail.
To make sure your vehicle starts in this weather, CAA says plug it in if you can and park it inside if you are able. Although Manitoba Hydro says for safety reasons, you should never plug in if the vehicle is already parked inside a garage. CAA also recommends checking your battery's charging capability, as most have only a 3 to 5 year lifespan. An emotional homecoming of sorts for Winnipeg Jets forward Jonathan Toews last night in the Windy City. Blackhawks fans at the United Center in Chicago on their feet with voices raised to pay tribute to Toews, the former Chicago captain and linchpin in the team that won 3 Stanley Cups between 2010 and 2015. After a puck drop, however, it wasn't a great night for Toews and his Winnipeg Jets teammates. In the Winnipeg net, Connor Hellebuck made some nice saves, 22 of them in total. But on this night, the Jets couldn't capitalize on opportunities. They were shut out by the Blackhawks 2-0. The Jets are back in Winnipeg tonight, hosting St. Louis. Game time is 7 p.m. With icy sidewalks and streets, getting your pet outside can be a challenge. CTV's Gates Guarin found how to keep them physically and mentally stimulated.
12-year-old Supernova knows to keep her eyes on the prize. She and her canine companions are staying stimulated indoors under the watchful eye of their human, Govind Pillai.
Nothing is worse than cabin fever for dogs.
With the blast of cold temperatures set to return, Pillai says issues can arise from dogs that are not able to get the right amount of both physical and mental activity from being outside.
When I look at the dogs that are having behavioral problems, more reactivity, more fear, more uncertainty, I have to take a look at their day, and what's often missing is that stimulation, that robust, comprehensive stimulation.
Veterinarian Charlene Laprise adds cold and icy conditions can pose problems for dogs and owners that aren't prepared.
So if a dog is jumping at a fence and it's icy underneath, they can slip, they can hurt their knee, they can hurt themselves. Plus, it's just not good for them mentally.
She adds dogs can become frustrated if they're cooped up inside for days on end. But both say there are plenty of ways to get your pup up and engaged.
Food puzzle toys are great ways to keep them occupied. Dogs don't actually need to eat from a bowl. You can find engaging ways to have them hunt for or find their food.
The mouth. There's a way to stimulate the mouth in a really appropriate way. There's activities we can look at. Agility, really appropriate tug of war to help release predatory behaviors.
Being social around people and other dogs can also help with mental stimulation. It's about getting creative within the walls of your home.
So there's different ways of engaging, I think, different faculties of the brain, different processes in their bodies, where at the end, even though you haven't gone for that 45 1-hour walk, they're pooped.
If you do find some time outside, it's recommended both human and dog gear up to take on the cold.
Just an opportunity to sniff, get out there, and then get back in the house, like that versus not ever getting out of the house for 3, 4, 7 days in a row, there's a big difference.
And taking steps to be as prepared as possible will make for some happy pups at the end of the day. Gates Gorin, CTV News, Edmonton.
Here's a look at now at the St. James Bridge. It looks like things are moving well here, but we do have a traffic alert. All northbound, southbound lanes of Sturgeon Road between Tonka Point to Saskatchewan Avenue will be closed today from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. So please use alternate routes in that area. If you have any other traffic tips, please let us know. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.26. The provincial average is lower at $1.19. In Winnipeg, the average is also $1.19, and the lowest price in the city is $1.07. All this information is on GasBuddy.com. Time now for our question of the day responses. Today is National Disc Jockey Day. So our question, we wanted to know, what song do you put on repeat at your party? Marlene has some favorites. Start Me Up, Don't Do Me Like That, Sweet Child of Mine, and Let It Be. Sheldon said they will have Ernest Monius, Ballroom Dancing Girl, on repeat. On the Floor by Jennifer Lopez is Susan's choice, and Shelley likes Simply the Best by Tina Turner. Thank you so much for your responses. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live this morning with One Just City. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning. I'm going to tell you about probably one of the most Manitoba fundraisers ever. It's a triathlon in the cold, but there's no swimming. We'll tell you about it in a second. It's all for One Just City. Tony Hess joins us now. He's the race director. Tell us all about this. It started back in 2019.
Yeah, it's a triathlon in support of One Just City for the Just a Warm Sleep. It's the triathlon, like you said, started in 2019, and where we skate and we bike and we run at the Forks. It's 5K run, 5K bike, 5K skate, because the water's too cold to swim. So we got to do what we got to do. And again, this year we've got 160 registered racers signed up. So we've sold out, and we're looking forward to the event on January 31st. Again, it's a fundraiser for One Just City. And, you know, if you're looking to support it or help us out, because we're trying to do our best for One Just City, you can go to the website, onejustcity.ca/beat the cold to donate.
Well, yeah, since it is full, people at home are going, shucks, I don't have to run 5K, but I can still help out.
You can definitely still help out. So, and again, yeah, if you're looking to other ways to help or that, if you got ideas, contact me or contact the Beat the Cold or One Just City, and we'll do our best. There's always a way to help, so we can help. We'll find a way to let you help.
As a race director, gathering well over 100 people to take part in these various activities, it mustn't be easy. What does it look like day of?
The day of is just a busy day. You've got to get things ready. You've got to get the site set up. You've got to get the equipment ready. You've got to make sure all your volunteers are ready. We need a lot of volunteers, and we appreciate our volunteers. Athletes are coming in. They're looking for their race bibs and their chips and everything, and they're getting set up. They've got set up their bikes and get their skates ready. And we've got a lot of relay teams this year too. So it's a big beehive of a lot of people doing a lot of things. We need a lot of people to make it happen. It's part of the community, so appreciate all the support of everybody that's going to be out there. And like I said, it's going to be cold that day. So.
We don't know it yet. 2 weeks, so hopefully it gets a little bit milder by then. It's all nice. For One Just City.
Okay, thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. It's still chilly out there for today.
Yeah, we can hope that in a couple of times we're out of this deep freeze, but it is likely to last at least another week. So no sign of improvement yet. Actually, there is a slight sign of improvement for today and tomorrow morning. By tomorrow afternoon, we're already headed even further from those seasonal temperatures as we've been. And we know it's been cold, but it's about to get colder yet. Let's get back to today, though. -23. We're finally at a normal low temperature, but that's already a climb of 5 degrees. We started the morning at -28. Feeling still like -32 with a light wind in place. It's just a 13K wind out of the southwest. The pressure falling, the humidity at 76%. Now I am seeing a few more clouds starting to build up. Thankfully, and this is what we'll have going for us today, is the winds will remain light throughout the day today and even overnight. And those temperatures won't be dropping off much tonight. We're only likely to rise to -17 when -13 is normal, but only dropping a degree overnight. Some light flurries perhaps, and still those light winds in place. Then tomorrow morning rising another few degrees, could get as mild as -14, almost reaching those seasonal values before the wind shift, increase, and drop those temperatures back down into the deep freeze. We're taking a break, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
It is a myth that Blue Monday, the third Monday of January, is the most depressing day of the year. But for many, getting the blues this time of year is no illusion. CTV's Christine Long has more.
It started out as a marketing tactic by a travel company selling sunshine vacations. Blue Monday might not actually be the most depressing day on the calendar, but the winter blahs are a real thing, says psychotherapist Andrew Sofin.
January, people are usually back at work. They're, nose to the grindstone, and they're really saying, paying off the visa bills. Many people will say that they experience more depressive-like symptoms, and it seems to be worse in January.
He points to a lack of daylight, less socializing, and the post-holiday lull catching up to a lot of people.
I would say most people with depression that are susceptible to depression or anxiety definitely will be saying, yeah, I'm struggling with these months.
It's like going through a snowstorm. We're going to get from A to B. We're going to get through this day, and this is the day to just be positive.
Comedian Franco Tadeo dishes out laughter as the best medicine and says it helps during these dark days.
Definitely the January blahs. I know from making a living trying to make people laugh that January is the hardest month. It's cold, it's dark, people have run out of money, there's not a holiday till spring, and January blahs are real, whether we want to call it Blue Monday or anything else. This time of year is tough.
Sofin says daylight and activity can also help push back on the blues.
We always say exercise, obviously get outside.
There you go.
And that's how these people are getting by. Laughter and exercise were on full display on this Monday at Mont-Rigaud, west of Montreal.
I'm enjoying the beautiful weather outside.
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling this makes me happy.
Yes, lots of bills to pay. It's been a long month, but we're getting through it.
On aime bien les sports d'hiver, donc ça tombe bien.
Take heart. The days are getting longer each week, and spring is now only 2 months away. Christine Long, CTV News.
For 3 days, a Winnipeg Community Centre is being infiltrated by gamers. From board games to cards, Manitobans will play over 350 games at one-of-a-kind, family-friendly event dubbed Gametoba. Joining us now to roll out the details is Kirby Gaiman. Kirby, good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to see you. I can't believe a whole year has gone by.
It's been pretty quick, hasn't it?
It has been really a great year, and board games are still very popular, despite, all the things that are happening on your tablet, on your phone. Still playing with your family with a good game is still something really awesome to do.
There's more games coming out all the time, more than ever. People want to sit across the table from each other and actually interact. It's so nice to sit around a table and enjoy each other's company without a phone, for sure. And
Gametoba is a supercharged version of that.
It absolutely is.
Tell us a little bit what it looks like and what it's all about.
We're at Bronx Park Community Center this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll have 300 plus people there playing board games, card games, role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons, miniature games, people fighting figures together, like little war games. Anything kind of game you can play on a tabletop, we'll be playing this weekend.
And it's really family fun too, right?
It is very family friendly. Everybody's welcome. Kids under 11 are free.
Oh, okay.
And we've got folks from people in strollers right up to folks who need canes and walkers. And everybody comes, we all have a good time. Board games are the great equalizer.
What's cool as well is you have over 700 board games that people can pick and choose from.
We have a library. When you get your pass to get in the door, you get a pass to the library and you can browse. We can help you find a game that you like, something you've been looking at, maybe you're curious about, you have no idea. We have people who can help you find a game.
Okay.
And then you can just take it to a table, play it. You can, we put up a sign that says you're looking for players. We have organized games where you can sign up and someone will teach you the game. And then play it with you. So if you don't know anything about board games, we've got you covered.
Okay.
If you know a lot about board games, we've got you covered.
Okay, well, you brought some board games this morning. Let's start with this one, because this is pretty cool.
This is one of my new favorites. It's called Lacuna. It's a 2-player game. It's simple enough to be played by a 5 or a 7-year-old. But it is incredibly deep in strategy. Adults will be working on this one for a long time.
Okay.
All we're doing is putting a piece down between 2 flowers of the same color, and then we get those flowers. The objective is to get as many flowers as you can of as many colors as you can. It seems simple. After 2 or 3 games, it suddenly clicks that it is far less simple than it appears. It's a very deep game, very thinky, great value. You'll be playing it forever.
So I think I know my next move. I'm going to go here. Do I get all 3?
No, but what you've done is keep me from getting this other pink one.
Okay.
So it's a double strategy move. You did a very good move. Well done.
Good. Then I think I'm going to get this game. Okay, what's this game?
This game called Cover Your Cookies. It's brand new this year. Very cute. Lots of wonderful art of cookies and different baking products. All I'm trying to do is make pairs. When I make a pair, I put it down on my pile. I make another pair, I put it down on my pile. My top of my pile is available to be stolen by anyone.
Just the top one?
Just the top pair that you put down. So I can be stealing other people's cookies, people can be stealing my cookies, I'm trying to guard my cookies. Very cute. The art is gorgeous, and the artist's grandmother's chocolate chip cookie recipe is in the box.
Oh, that's so fun. Okay, we're almost out of time. This is happening this weekend?
This is happening this weekend at Bronx Park Community Center, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Anybody can show up and have a great time.
And then if you want to learn more, Lumberjacks Rocket Launchers, which we didn't
Lumberjacks with rocket launchers, a great game for 8 players. There aren't very many 8-player games.
Cool.
Anyone can play it.
Thank you so much for sharing this.
Thanks very much.
Is there going to be a crokinole board?
There will be
Count me in. But I'm not playing with Rochelle because she clearly makes up the rules as she goes. Okay, -23. That's the temperature that we're finally sitting at. A normal low for this time of year, although it took us 5 degrees to get here. We started at -28. Feels still like -32 with a 13K wind out of the southwest. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 76%. We've been watching the clouds building up throughout the morning. There you can see we're still going to see more of them moving in as the day goes on. Temperature-wise, we're only going to get to about -17 today. -13, that would be a normal daytime high. But we won't fall much overnight, only a degree down to -18. We'll gain a few more degrees tomorrow, up to about -14. But while the winds stay light today and tonight, tomorrow those winds increasing as they shift out of the northwest. It's going to drive the temperature down throughout the afternoon tomorrow, and finding ourselves in the deep freeze, not just the rest of the week. That's going to be the worst of it, but still for the weekend. So yeah, board game sounds like a fun way to spend this deep freeze, as it's going to last into the start of next week. We'll see you right after this break.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
Well, before we say goodbye, we're going to show you some fun video. It's only Tuesday in work week, and some people are feeling like this, baby. Look at his face as the caption says, "Baby Tony from Jersey is still mad and he's only 3 months old."
He looks 80.
He's ready to rough someone up in his tracksuit and dumbbell in his hand. His boss baby is waiting for an offer he can't refuse. He does look mad. Now, this little boy has an argument with his father, and he's very eloquent.
You can sleep by yourself.
No, I can't. I'm Mommy's roommate.
But I want to sleep with Mommy too.
You can't. You always have your own mommy. Your mommy lives at Grandma's house, remember? She misses you. Go home, Daddy. Go home.
You go home, Daddy. He's so compelling. Look at him.
There's some logic there.
Yeah, and the mom's covering her face because she can't help but laugh at this interaction. What a cutie. An unfortunate-looking fish to finish things off this morning. Oh, my goodness. This is a long-nosed stargazer. It's known for burying itself in the sand, leaving only its upward-facing googly eyes exposed like it's stargazing while waiting to ambush prey like small fish and crustaceans.
That's
Pretty
wild.
creepy. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.